tambourine night here, or whatever it is. You know, people kid around and say, what would you do if you were commissioner for a day?
You wouldn't have tambourine
night? One thing
night?
I would outlaw, any giveaways that make noise.
Sounds like a horde of locusts running around here, huh?
It's only going to get worse.
0-2 away. Ryan Howard is the batter. Ryan is 8 for 24 against Josh Johnson in his career. 4 for 6, as you see, with runners in scoring position. He's got Valdez over at third. 4 for his last 6. And he takes a pitch inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Ryan so far this year is tied for 5th in hits and tied for 5th in singles with 41. It's kind of odd to see him sitting in the top 5 in singles, and he loops that one towards straightaway center, but Cameron Maybin comes on, makes the grab, and the Phillies strand a runner at third here at the top of the first. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. Time for Roy Halladay to go to work when we return.
If I were a customer, I like nonstop travel because it's quicker, because it's convenient. It's just the best way to go. Keeps the cost down.
Starting June 27th, fly one of Southwest Airlines' 5 new nonstop flights out of Philadelphia to Boston Logan.
It means more time doing the things I want to do. It's easy. It's hassle-free. There's no headaches.
Now you can fly Southwest from Philadelphia to all 3 of our Boston area airports for only $69 one way.
I like nonstop travel because you don't got any more stuff. I don't know what to...
Hey, Parker, want to race home? Bet I can beat you there.
With its 43 safety features, like the Parkview rear backup camera,
Hi, sweetie. There you
electronic vehicle information center, and rear cross path detection system, now available in the Safety Tech package. The Chrysler Town & Country is a safe bet to make.
Now during the 0% Memorial Day sales event, get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,500 combined cash allowance on Town & Country.
Phillies Grand Slam from Turkey Hill could be your ticket to the game. Enter your code at turkeyhill.com/Phillies for a chance to win tickets to a home game or a spring training trip for 2 to Clearwater, Florida. Pick up some Grand Slam from Turkey Hill today.
Closed captioning for the Phillies is provided by Finagle a Bagel, the world's best bagel. All natural, hand-boiled and baked. Available in your grocer's freezer.
Oh, that young lady is not alone. There's a number of Philly fans that have chased Chase Utley from Philadelphia for this weekend series, enjoying Memorial Day in South Florida. Well, today's starting lineup for the Marlins, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off in left field, Chris Coghlan. Gabby Sanchez, the first baseman, bats second. Hanley Ramirez hits third, followed by Jorge Cantu, the third baseman. Dan Uggla, the second baseman, is in the 5-hole. Cody Ross, the right fielder, bats sixth. And the bottom third of Brett Hayes, Cameron Maybin, and Josh Johnson, the face right-hander Roy Halladay, making his 11th start of the year. Wheels.
And he still has great numbers, even though he got hit around a little bit in that game by the Boston Red Sox. And they didn't catch the ball real well for him either.
Allowed 7 runs in 5 2/3, and he fires a fastball for a strike.
Southwest Airlines scouting report, pitching on that extra day's rest. That's the fastball he throws, along with a lot of other good stuff. Last 3 starts, numbers not real good. In fact, his last win was the 6th of the month against St. Louis at the ballpark at Citizens Bank Park.
Well, and he said they didn't catch the ball real well for him his last time out. They haven't caught the ball real well for him lately. But Roy Halladay said it might have saved me a couple of pitches, the one error by Greg Dobbs last time. But for me, I think the 6th inning was big. To me, that's where the game kind of got out of hand, and that was my fault. And he evens up the count 2-2 to Chris Coghlan. He said he just didn't execute his pitches in his last outing against the Red Sox, and that's been the case for him. Then he falls behind 3-2 to Coghlan. Gabby Sanchez waits on deck. On the outside corner, called strike 3. Coghlan, I think, knew it. He was just hoping that the home plate umpire, Mike DeMuro, would give him a pass. 1 gone here in the bottom of the first.
The pitch looked like he was headed towards the outside corner. That's what he called it. Coghlan tosses the bat away because he thinks he has a walk. Carlos did a nice job of freezing that. You know, that pitchers really appreciate catchers that sit nice and still like that. And he even moved a little bit, but it didn't look like it. I wouldn't think, to the home plate umpire, because there was very little movement in his hand there.
Mike DeMuro is the home plate umpire. Tim Welke's at first. Jim Reynolds is at second, and Bill Welke's around at third. Mike DeMuro, whose dad was a major league umpire. He was the first umpire in Major League Baseball to ump over in Japan, and he did that in 1997 just to kind of refine his skills. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Charlie Emanuel felt pretty good after last night's win because of the way the Phillies pulled out the victory and used their legs to help the offense along. And Charlie's had to answer a lot of questions about Roy Halladay over the last week or two because of his number of pitches that he's thrown over his last few outings. And Roy Halladay said, from the horse's mouth, the number of pitches that I've thrown doesn't and didn't affect me. It was a matter of not making good pitches. And he was talking more about his last outing against the Red Sox and maybe his outing before.
I think the other 2 times in his career he threw a lot of pitches like that. He threw shutouts after them. So, you know, end of story enough, Uncle.
Reaches out and pops it foul, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss, and Sanchez way out in front of that one. There's another curveball from Halladay, 2 away.
He threw a good breaking ball there, 2-2 to get him. He threw him a good changeup earlier in the count.
During the 2010 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Phillies have 27 wins this year. And as we showed you before, they're a game and a half up in the National League East over the Atlanta Braves, who are facing the National League East this week, or this weekend, before the Phillies come into town for a 3-game series. And a fastball to Ramirez is low, 1 ball and no strikes. Henley Ramirez is hitting .302 with 8 home runs. See his splits between home games here in South Florida and games on the road. And a swing and a foul tip. It's 2-1. By the way, I said the Braves are facing the East. They're facing the Central. They're facing the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend.
Yeah, as they did last weekend, and they've won 3 out of 4 from them. They lost on a walk-off home run the final game of the series in Pittsburgh.
2-1 the count to Ramirez. And now Roy Halladay has fallen behind 3-1.
Quite a few pitchers falling behind. All 3 hitters so far, which is not like him. But he's come back to strike both of them out. First 2 guys. DeVere's got a good plate for a veteran pitcher, and Johnson may get the same treatment, so the hitters are going to be swinging the bats tonight.
The second hitter that's walked away thinking that he's had a walk. Chris Coghlan, the leadoff batter, thought he had a walk and he was rung up. Ramirez thought he had a walk, and now it's 3-2. Towards second base, hit hard, but it skips right on to Chase Utley, who throws over to first, and Roy Halladay has a 1-2-3 first inning. Easy inning for Halladay, not from a pitch count standpoint, but he works it, nothing across.
Let's take the garden into our own hands. Soak our yards in color. Get our hands a little busier, our dollars a little stronger, and our thinking a little greener. Let's grab all the bags and all the plants and all the latest tools out there so we can turn all these savings into more colorful shades of doing. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. We've made a special buy on 32-quart Miracle Grow Moisture Control Potting Mix for just $8.97.
We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
Remember when you were 5 and anything was possible? Happy 5th birthday again.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
It's Toyota's National Sales Event. The perfect time to get the Toyota you've always wanted. And for a limited time, get a free auto maintenance package when you buy or lease any new Toyota. Lease the 2010 Corolla for just $149 a month, or get 0% APR for 60 months on Corolla. Or choose a new 2011 Camry and lease one for just $189 a month. Toyota's National Sales Event, going on now. Hurry to your Toyota dealer today.
Dig into KFC's 7-piece value meal, now only $9.99. 7 extra crispy drumsticks and thighs, large mashed potatoes with gravy, and 3 biscuits. The 7-piece value meal from KFC. A lot of crunch for only $9.99.
Roy Halladay got the Florida Marlins in order in the bottom of the first inning, and every time the Phillies retire the opposing team in order, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone.
See by Halladay mopping sweat off there. It is typical South Florida night, and it's hot and humid. Now, there rain all over the place again before the game, and didn't get here, and hopefully it won't tonight. But one thing's for sure, it's not hard to get loose if you're a pitcher.
Josh Johnson has enjoyed his time here in South Florida. See the conditions up above, some clouds in the area.
Oh yeah, it was raining really hard. It looked like about 5 miles from here. Black, and you can see the rain, but it just stayed there.
That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, very good thing.
We had a little rain in last night's game, but it really didn't affect what was going on the field. They never did take the cover off the tarp. Back toward the mound, under the glove of Johnson. And Jason is retired to start the second. One away, and Raul Ibanez, once he gets the donut off his bat, will come to the plate. Raul was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game, and he hit a triple that drove in Ryan Howard for the Phillies' first run in their last 30 innings. Let's see what he's done against Josh Johnson during his career.
Wasn't up here with you guys in that habit. Look, looked like Maven took a funny route to that, and the ball skidded.
Yeah, the wet turf seemed to cause that ball just to fly right on by him. But I agree with you. He probably didn't go at it. His angle wasn't that great.
Well, here it is.
So you decide.
Yeah, it's hard to tell at that point where it picks it up where he started, but the ball did hit that wet, and that's fast turf here anyway. And when it hit it, it scooted. Almost looked like AstroTurf.
Raul goes the opposite way with that one. That's pretty well hit. Coughlin going back has room and makes the catch. Pretty well hit, but it was down toward the end of the bat. And they're 2 away.
Here's a look at it. And Johnson, much like Halladay, has great movement on his pitches. Tom said that hit down near the end of the bat, and he really didn't drive it.
Well, that'll bring Juan Castro to the plate. Castro played as a defensive replacement in last night's ball game, and he's playing third base tonight. Charlie Manuel was asked before the ball game about Castro playing third tonight instead of Greg Dobbs. He said, well, Castro can play third. He said he is a utility man, isn't he? And that was the design, was to have Castro come in and, you know, play some short, maybe play some second, and also play some third.
One thing about when you bring a guy in and call him your utility infielder, he has to be able to do one thing: play shortstop, because that's the hardest position to play. Now, you take for granted they can play third and second and help you out there, if they can, but they have to be able to play short. And Phillies are very lucky that they have 2 guys that can do that in Castro and Valdez.
Opposite way. That's a fair ball by Castro, just inside the first base bag, and he'll get to second. That's the second double of the night for the Phils against Johnson.
A lot of triples in this ballpark down in that area. Now, Castro doesn't run very well, so he wasn't going to be a guy to get one. But it's 345 down the line with kind of a goofy corner. The ball shoots around that corner and you will see triples down there. Here's just kind of a late swing at a fastball and zip right inside the bag. Right there, a fair ball. And on it quickly was Cody Ross to get it back in.
So a runner in scoring position for the Phillies, their second one of the night. And Carlos Ruiz takes a pitch on the black, and it's 0-1.
You see what they're doing right here. They're not going to walk him and turn the order over here in the second inning because they figure there's a reason the guy's hitting 8. Go get him.
Roy Halladay waits on deck. You see what Carlos has done in his last 28 at bats. He's 3 for his last 28.
One thing Carlos was doing when he was going well offensively was walking a lot in this 8-hole.
Freddie Gonzalez decides not to walk him intentionally. There's a broken back ground ball toward the middle. Backhanded by Ugla. One hop throw. Not in time. Infield single for Ruiz. Over to third goes Castro. Boy, if that ball could have just snuck on through, the Phillies would have had a run. But Ugla did a nice job getting to that ball. It wasn't that hard.
Right. Ugla's main concern there is to make sure the ball doesn't get through so the run scores. And then he saw he had a chance at an out. So he bounced it over there and almost got Ruiz. Here's a look at it. Ugla's really improved as a second baseman. Makes a real nice play there. Carlos obviously safe. But when it went up the middle, you thought, you know, maybe it can trickle through.
So Castro leads off third. Ruiz leads off first. Roy Halladay the batter, and a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1.
Roy Halladay's trying to find his way a little bit in the National League offensively, and it's going to be tough. And look out over that first base dugout if he makes contact.
4 for 33 this year at the plate. And he's behind. No balls and 2 strikes.
Listen, he hasn't seen cheese like this in the National League so far. I mean, obviously in his career, and I'm sure he's seen guys throw like Johnson, but there aren't many.
Right, thinking last time out I saw a knuckleballer. That was a little different. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, well, the Angels have scored 4 in the bottom of the 10th on a grand slam by Kendry Morales, and have defeated the Mariners 5-1. Swing and a miss, and Halladay is down on strikes, and Josh Johnson strands another one over at third. He picks up his first strikeout. Phillies strand 2. We go to the bottom of the second in a scoreless game.
It's the Chevy Spring Event, and everyone deserves a car they can count on. One that's backed by a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy 2 years in a row. Discover Malibu for yourself and see why over 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy.
During the spring event, qualified lessees now get a 27-month low-mileage lease on this Malibu LS for around $199 a month. Call for details. Visit ChevyDealer.com.
Bold colors and a cosmopolitan atmosphere.
Innovative cocktails,
drink specials,
and the finest drafts.
A full breakfast menu
served 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily.
And a private banquet room and covered patio space for any special occasion.
The perfect place to eat a casual meal, enjoy great food,
catch the game, and meet up with friends.
Kitchen Bar in Abington. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, or late night. Find out why everyone goes to Kitchen Bar.
CSNPhilly.com, your source for total 24/7 coverage of Phillies teams. Your first stop for breaking news and sports. Plus, top stories, exclusive video, and the latest scores. Speak up on hot topics in our Truth and Rumors blog. CSNPhilly.com, the ultimate press pass with postgame player reactions and expert analysis. Get in-depth coverage with the most experienced team insiders and beat writers. Total 24/7 coverage of Phillies teams, only on CSNPhilly.com.
Follow the Phils on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com At Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Phillies.com today on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, or BlackBerry for more details. Bottom of the second, scoreless ball game. Phils have had some base runners. In fact, they've had a couple of runners over to third. Youngsters not only hoping for a Phillies win, but also a souvenir. They know that the warm-ups are about to end for Roy Halladay, and they're thinking maybe there's a ball coming in from the infielders that somebody will toss up into the stands. Halladay in the first struck out 2, but he threw 19 pitches, and now he'll go to work against 4, 5, and 6. Still looking, still looking. Nope, doesn't look like they're going to get one.
Not all right. Not this time. Keep giving the players those mournful looks. Sooner or later, you might get one.
Gonna stand up, show your jersey.
Yeah.
Jorge Cantu leads it off, and he'll take a breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1. Cantu's 5 for 15 on this homestand for the Marlins, which included the series against the Braves. And he has seen Roy Halladay before. And in fact, he's 3 for 17 against him, as you just saw.
And he was with the Rays for a number of years, playing in the same division with the Toronto Blue Jays.
And he does come into this ball game with a 6-game hitting streak.
See, Halladay doesn't throw many fastballs, at least in this at bat, and that's knowing your opponent, because Cantu is such a good fastball hitter. Doesn't mean you won't throw him one. They're going to go with another breaking ball here.
That one just missed off the outside corner. It's 3-1.
That was a cutter.
And he came back with a fastball.
Yeah, another cutter. The same thing. He's not throwing anything straight to Cantu so far. So Carlos Ruiz twice put down 3, and that must be 3 for cutter for Halladay. Sometimes 3 means slider.
And a swing and a foul tip into the glove of Ruiz. 3rd strikeout for Halladay.
That was a fastball.
So 1 away here in the bottom of the 2nd.
There you go. This is a little four-seamer right there. And he throws it by him after all that stuff with a lot of movement. He went up a little bit on Cantu and got him to chase.
Halladay comes into this game 5th in the National League in earned run average. His ERA is at 2.18. Josh Johnson, well, is right behind Roy Halladay. In fact, he's 9th in the National League in earned run average. The leader is Ubaldo Jimenez at 0.88.
Halladay does not have real command of his breaking ball. There you see Josh Johnson. You can't help but notice him wiping his hand on his pants a lot and going to the rosin bag because there's just so much moisture here. There he goes again. Almost every pitch he goes and he wipes his hand, and he's been back to the rosin bag quite a bit.
A curveball in there for strike 2. 1-2. Dan Uggla's tied for the league lead in home runs with 12. Swing and a miss and another curve. And that is the 4th strikeout for Halladay.
Another great fastball hitter in Dan Uggla, and he wasn't going to see them.
After the game, get all the highlights from tonight's game, plus expert analysis from former Philly Ricky Metallico on Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Sloan Toyota, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. I would think Ricky is loving this matchup between Josh Johnson and Roy Halladay, particularly when Halladay is delivering like this.
Well, it's another curveball, and he threw Uggla a couple of them, and they were the best curveballs he's thrown so far.
There's Cody Ross, who whacks the first pitch from Halladay to 3rd. Castro throws across the diamond. And Halladay needed that. A 1-pitch at bat by Cody Ross. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. He's retired the first 6. We go to the 3rd. 0-0.
Backed by popular demand, Hyundai's tent event. It's bigger. Save on versatile SUVs like the all-new Tucson or the roomy Santa Fe. From America's most fuel-efficient car maker, it's better with America's best warranty and Hyundai Assurance. It's back. Big tent event savings with special financing on the Santa Fe. It's bigger. It's better. It's back. Our once-a-year tent event at your Hyundai dealer. Look for the tent. Get special financing plus bonus cash on the Hyundai Santa Fe.
1.
Phillies, I think.
It's Green Mountain coffee time. apple.
Yogurt. Toothbrush.
What are you watching?
The dullest reality show I've ever seen.
Thank you, WB.
Or maybe not.
Good boy. Maybe if you put the pen in your mouth.
Hey, congratulations! Your family just signed up for Fios.
I told you we love Xfinity from Comcast.
Xfinity. That's just a snazzy new name, isn't it?
Actually, it's an entire network upgrade. We get much faster internet, more HD, thousands of choices on demand, and my favorite TV shows and movies on my computer.
True, but the dog already signed the contract.
He's a basset hound.
Who's locked into a Fios contract.
Don't fall for Fios. Visit Xfinity.com to learn more.
Oh, Wills, your friend Shabaka's at the ballpark, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for the Dodge Stuff the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com, go to the fan forums section for all the information, and please submit your answer in the subject line. The question is, can you name the athlete who played for a World Series and an NBA championship in the 1950s?
Probably not.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll find out in the 7th inning. It's got to be hot in that Chewbacca uniform.
What's a Chewbacca?
Did you ever see Star Wars?
No. Sorry.
No, it's kind of a cult movie. Not many people saw it.
No, I think a lot of people saw it. I think I would probably be in the minority.
Jay Victorino leads things off.
Sorry.
We will get you the Star Wars gift pack for Christmas this year. We'll get it in Blu-ray. It would be great with that surround sound.
I have a feeling I have it at home.
Victorino skies it. Left center field. Cameron Maben calls off Chris Coughlin, and there's one out here in the 3rd.
Well, if that had been somebody in a Davy Crockett outfit, I'd have known it.
Right, and then you would have been in the minority about that,
right,
too.
I said that was Fess Parker. You know he just died?
I didn't know he just passed away.
Yes, unfortunately, Fess did. Born on a mountaintop in Tennessee.
Did he die on the mountaintop in Tennessee?
I don't know. I can't go that far for you.
Probably died in the Hollywood Hills.
Probably.
Wilson Valdez doubled his first time up, and he takes a fastball in. 1 ball and no strikes. Phillies have 2 doubles tonight against Josh Johnson, who surprisingly went through his entire game last time out without a strikeout. This guy is averaging a strikeout per inning, and he didn't have one his last time.
That is surprising, and he threw 93 pitches without a strikeout. That's hard to do. Even in an American League park and an American League game the way that he did, because he pitched that game Sunday in Chicago.
And there's his line from that ball game, and yes, he did get the win as the Marlins defeated the White Sox, as Valdez lines one to center, and he's going to have his 2nd base hit of the night. Well, speaking of the American League Central, the Cleveland Indians are going to be in Philadelphia Tuesday, June 22nd at 7:05 for a 3-game series. 2 night games and a day game. See a couple former Phils on that roster, including Lou Marson, Jason Donald. Order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. There might have been a time where we would have told you, come see the Indians. You'll see CC Sabathia. You'll see Cliff Lee. And they have kind of broken that team up that was pretty successful and in the postseason just a few years ago. Chase grounded out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Toss over, and Valdez back standing. Josh Johnson is one of 2 Marlins players that the Marlins front office has really locked up for the future and have locked up for their new ballpark in 2012. The first was Hanley Ramirez, and then Johnson this past offseason signed a 4-year $39 million contract that is guaranteed. There was a lot of speculation that he would eventually leave the Marlins sooner rather than later, but Jeffrey Loria, who's the owner of the Marlins, who you see right there, and his front office staff decided that they needed a foundation to go into that new ballpark and a foundation in their rotation, and this guy is a mighty big foundation. And he fires a fastball for a strike to Chase.
Well, he's a true #1 pitcher, that's for sure. And you see winning percentage for Marlins career leaders, Josh Johnson.
Not even close.
Right there. And he has tremendous numbers here in this ballpark.
He's 4-0 with an ERA of 1.80 in his last 6 starts here at this ballpark. And that's just the beginning. Freddie Gonzalez had a great quote not only about Josh Johnson but also about Roy Halladay. He said, 2 guys who have a great work ethic. As Chase bounces it foul, just foul.
Yeah, you don't get this good by just showing up. You know, they obviously both have tremendous talent. There's Freddie, who Tom's talking about, their manager, and Roy Halladay. They're gifted with tremendous natural ability. But to do the things they do and to be as superior as they are, you have to do more, and they do.
Well, he went on to say, I don't know if there is a thing called an ace mentality, but I know that Josh and Roy Halladay's preparation is second to none. I think you either learn to work hard or born with it. And I think these 2 guys were born with it. Valdez goes and Utley pulls it foul.
Good time to run. You know, a lot of that has to do with Davey Lopes and there's Charlie checking that stopwatch out there. Davey Lopes and Wilson Valdez talking about it. But also with 2 strikes on Utley, you know, they also think, hey, he may throw something in the dirt here. He may throw a breaking ball of some kind. You know, and even if Utley strikes out, we'll be at second with 2 outs.
See, the opposition's been caught 5 times trying to steal against Johnson, and I think that's partly because they didn't get something soft. They got a real good fastball, and it gave Ronnie Paulino and John Baker and Brett Hayes a good pitch to throw on.
Well, they just got a throw over. You saw the pinky go towards first base. They got a throw over after Valdez ran.
Valdez doesn't go, and Chase takes a fastball wide, 2-2.
Yeah, that's a great pitch for the pitcher to throw, and the catcher. It's almost like a pitch out if he had gone there, and that's the opposite of getting the breaking ball. Now, you know, you put in his mind that the guy was going to go, so we don't want to throw a breaking ball there, something slow. We're going to throw a fastball. So you can do 2 things by a runner being in motion like that.
Valdez doesn't go again, and Chase floats it towards center. Maben may have misjudged it. He did. It's off his glove, and that's going to go back to the warning track. Valdez speeding around third. He's heading for home. Utley's going to be at third base standing, and the Phillies take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, you could see he was in trouble on that ball, and then it looked like he had recovered because he's so tall, and he did get a lot of leather on it, and then kicked it behind him. Or knocked it behind him when he hits it with a glove, which we'll probably see. But Utley fooled him a little bit because he lunges at this. Watch him lunge with one hand, and he's thinking, well, that didn't hit that hard. And then it's like, oh, no. And right there, it clanks off the glove. Watch how much glove that hits. Right there, he almost caught it, and he actually kind of forced it behind him.
Well, they're going to score that a 3-base error for Cameron Maben. And the Phillies will take it.
You know, you see a guy take a swing like that, and they're going to walk Ryan Howard here. You see a guy take a swing like Utley just hit, and you're the outfielder, and it's hit right at you. Your first reaction has to do what he did, and that's break in. Because you see it's like a one-handed swing. You think he's dunking it in front of me, and I don't want that guy to get to third who's on first base. And then all of a sudden, Utley, as strong as he is, whatever he did with that, he got some backspin on it and took off.
Really did carry pretty well, and that is the 40th error of the year for the Marlins. And no major league team has committed more errors than Florida. It's the second one for Maben. And there's intentional ball 4 to Ryan Howard. And this inning's still alive. Phillies have runners on first and third.
Well, the reason he walked Ryan Howard right there is he's trying to get a strikeout and to prevent a fly ball, and figured Josh Johnson's chances to strike out Worth are better than to strike out Ryan Howard. I mean, that's the only reason why you would do that. And the other reason is you're playing to the opposition's pitcher right now, Roy Halladay, so you're doing everything you can not to give up runs.
Well, the Marlins will set up a double play depth with runners on first and third, and 1 away for Jason, and he takes a fastball for strike 1. Jason came into the game 10th in the league in hitting at .309. but did have an off day yesterday because Charlie just felt like he was lunging a little too much and needed a day just to clear his head. He did eventually come in to play right field. He got one at bat.
He's been hitting a lot of fly balls along with his strikeouts, and fly ball here would be just fine.
1-1 the count to Jason. And he lays off a breaking ball, and it's 2-1.
Well, if they'll hand you 2 runs, and with a guy like Josh Johnson on the mound, you got to get him. And nobody knows that more than Jason Worth right now, trying to grind out this at bat and get that runner in from third.
Jason, Ryan Howard, and Shane Victorino all tied for the team lead in RBIs with 33. Off the outside corner, 3-2.
I don't think you run here because Jason Worth isn't a guy who grounds into double plays. He's more likely to strike out into one.
Ryan does not have a big lead off first. He doesn't go, and a swing and a miss. 2 outs. That is the second strikeout for Johnson. That's just a little cheese right here.
Well, and that's why Freddie Gonzalez did what he did, walking Ryan Howard, because he wanted the best chance for a strikeout to prevent a sacrifice fly for that second run, and they got the strikeout on a 95 fastball.
Phillies have gotten a run in this inning. As it turns out, it's an unearned run, but they got a run nonetheless. And they've got another runner at third for the 3rd straight inning.
Yeah, this inning was the first time they got somebody to third with less than 2 outs. And now they got him over there with 2 outs again.
No balls, 1 strike to count to Ibanez. Raul, who is from the Miami area, went to high school here, lives here, went to college here, to Miami-Dade. If he wasn't drafted, then he probably would have went to the University of Miami to play some college baseball. And he lays off fastball on the outside corner at 96, and it's 1-2.
That's a gift. Throw 96 on the corners. That's special.
And a swing and a miss at a breaking ball. And Ibanez is strikeout victim number 3 for Josh Johnson. But the Phillies get a break on a ball hit by Chase Utley off the glove of Cameron Maben. Back to the warning track, and that gives Wilson Valdez plenty of time to score the game's only run.
Bring it! If we're known for one thing,
we've got the best customer service.
Low fares. Frequent flights, that's what we're known for.
Low customer service.
We're known for a lot of things. Bags fly free.
The lowest fares.
Customer service.
Low fares.
We're not saying other airlines are bad. We're just awesome.
Starting June 27th, fly one of Southwest Airlines' 5 new daily nonstop flights from Philadelphia to Boston Logan. Now you can fly Southwest Airlines nonstop from Philadelphia to Boston Logan, Manchester, or Providence. Grab your bag. It's on.
The ballpark comes with expectations. Hot dogs, the 7th inning stretch, the roar of the sellout crowd. You rely on this season after season. Likewise, bank on Klansman Subaru for a great everyday experience. Buy smart and be confident in Klansman's low finance rates and zero down deals. Get no hassle service on reliable award-winning vehicles that dates back over 80 years. Trust Klansman for a knocked right out of the park deal on every Subaru, every day.
Everyone knows why baseball is America's favorite pastime. But get behind the wheel of a new Audi or Infiniti, and you'll discover why driving one is America's favorite sport. At Audi Willow Grove and Infiniti of Willow Grove, drive home in the best seat in the house with an Audi A4 or Infiniti G37 for just $299 a month at Audi Willow Grove and Infiniti of Willow Grove, 611 and the PA Turnpike, where great things happen.
Baseball is brought to you by Acura. Acura Advance. By Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEF-NOW. And by your Quality Plus Ford dealers. A beautiful sunset here in South Florida. And it is gorgeous right now. And the Phillies lead at 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. Roy Halladay will face the bottom third of the order. Brett Hayes, Cameron Maybin, and Josh Johnson. Hayes, who was called up from AAA to replace John Baker, who was put on the disabled list. He was hitting just .220 in the minor leagues with a home run. He is hitting .286 here in the big leagues. And that one's off the end of the bat. A soft pop up right toward Chase Utley. And one out here in the third. You know, it's pretty special to be a major league pitcher, which obviously Roy Halladay and Josh Johnson both are. But to not only be a major league pitcher, but to be a #1 on whatever team you play on. And that means that you get a chance to pitch in all the big games, but you also get a chance to pitch a lot of times against the other team's #1 pitcher. And Roy Halladay has done that throughout his career.
I was watching the other day when they were playing the Mets, and he evidently has been matched up with Santana quite a few times. And that's a one-on-one.
Maybin hits it in the air to right center field. Shane Victorino got a late start, but Jason Worth is there, and Victorino crosses behind him to make the catch. Worth just let it go by because he heard Shane calling. 2 outs. Usually the bigger of the 2 outfielders will stay there and make the grab. Wow, that was cool. That was clean shaven right there. Two outs for Josh Johnson. Pretty good hitter.
Oh yeah, this guy, you know, Roy Halladay, you know, should be able to handle him, but this guy can hit mediocre pitching, that's for sure. He hit some homers.
3 home runs in his career. They came in 1 season.
He went to dead center in this place. That is deep.
2-0 the count.
One of those guys that got to put an elbow pad on it because he's a right-handed pitcher.
Last year, Roy Halladay matched up against the other team's #1 a number of times when he faced the Yankees or faced the Red Sox. He would, from time to time, face Andy Pettitte, CC Sabathia for the Yankees, John Lester, Josh Beckett for the Red Sox, and he was staggering the number of times he either pitched a complete game or pitched into the 8th inning of those games. And he gets Johnson swinging on strikes for his 5th strikeout. He's faced 9. He's retired all 9 so far. We go to the 4th inning here in South Florida. It's the Phils 1, the Marlins 0.
Show your spirit when the Phils host the Marlins June 8th through June 10th, all at 7:05. Order now.
You know what I love about my CR-V? I love that whatever I'm thinking about, I can do.
Another somebody who loves a Honda.
Look for money-saving leases and low financing at your Honda dealer, or go to shophonda.com.
How about we open up a whole can of getting it done and get this year's colors up on the wall this year? Let's get better prices and better paint. Let's break out the drop cloths, rollers, brushes, and tape. Let's start small, then go big, no matter what the budget. And when we're done, let's take a bow. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get $5 off any 1-gallon can of any Behr or Glidden paint.
Tuesday, July 6th at 7:05, the Phils and the Atlanta Braves will get together as part of a 3-game series, and it's also a Charlie Emanuel Louisville Slugger free to fans 14 and under, compliments of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 98. Order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Charlie Emanuel, that day when he was swinging that bat, he was loving it. Has a signature on the top of it, and he's probably loving what he sees from Roy Halladay so far. His team leads it 1-0 as we go to the top of the 4th. In the bottom third of this order, we'll see if they can get something cooking again against Josh Johnson. Gary Matthews joins us here in the booth. And Sarge, is a player, when both teams' number ones were scheduled to go at it, what does that mean as a player, like a left fielder like yourself?
Well, you're looking forward to it, to say the least, and hoping that you can do something to win the ball game for them.
I guess in a game like this, if you score 1 run, there's a sigh of relief that, all right, we got, we got the run first. Let's see what we can do to tack on a little bit.
Well, that's what you like to do. You want to be able to add on and to pick up easy RBIs. They had a situation with Jason Worth up there, less than 1 out, runner on third base. You want to make contact. Freddie Gonzalez elected to walk Ryan Howard, and it paid off for him.
Well, 1-2 the count to Josh Johnson. We just don't see it that often, Sarge. I mean, we think we do, number 1 against number 1, but as the season goes on, it doesn't really happen that often.
No, it really doesn't, except for maybe the first time of the year. But a lot of times, though, when they hook up those number ones, you're excited about it, you're thinking about it. I know when Steve Carlton pitched, and maybe we were facing a Tom Seaver, you were ready to go.
Juan Castro to center field. Cameron Maven, who misjudged one earlier, was able to make the catch on that one. One away.
A solid little contact there. Now, he did lose his feet just a little bit, but recovered on that one. That one not carrying as much.
Here's Carlos. Carlos had an infield single his first time up, second hit of the series. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. I don't know how Steve Carlton was the day of or the day before a start. I know he was a very intense individual, but we've said this before as Ruiz drills one to left field, boom, right off the wall. He may get a long single out of that one, if for the only reason being that he hit it so hard.
Well, that ball hit like a bullet off the wall.
Right above that, I think right above the 0, the second 0 in 2003.
Well, that's the kind of sound that you like. Line drives coming off of his bat. That ball there hit just like a bullet. He's short, compact. Hear that sound, and outfielder just going to turn around.
Roy Halladay, who does not have a sacrifice bunt this year, tries to sacrifice Ruiz up to second, misses the first pitch. Anyway, if you used to walk by Steve Carlton, I'm not sure what he said the day before or the day of games. You walk by Roy Halladay, and it is tunnel vision the day of a game.
Yeah, Steve Carlton wasn't a good guy to talk to or ask anything the day he was pitching.
0-2 the count to Halladay.
And well known. I mean, if he drops something, just keep walking. He'll get it himself. You just don't want to even have eye contact with him. You put him on that mound, and he means business, and he had a great chance of winning the ball game.
Halladay pulls back. It's 1-2. So 1-2 the count to Josh Johnson. I guess that's okay though, Sarge, if the pitcher is that good, if he's that prepared and is looking forward for the task at hand, you kind of let him be a little quiet.
Well, you let him be a little quiet, and they're a little more temperamental than most.
Halladay misses that one, and he's down on strikes. 2 outs. So 2 away with a runner at first and back to the top of the order. And Roy still looking for that first sacrifice bunt. Now Josh Johnson is a little different. He's intense, but he talks a little bit more on the day of a game. Greg Maddux used to talk all the time on the day of a game, didn't he?
Greg didn't really talk a whole lot. John Montefusco, the Count, used to talk all the time. I mean, he would actually go to the batting cage when the opposition was hitting and tell him that he was going to strike him out. He did that against the Phillies, as a matter of fact. And this was on that team. Greg Lazinski was on the team. Schmidt was on the team.
Off-speed pitch for a strike. It's 1-1 to Victorino, who's 0 for 2. I find that surprising that a pitcher of the day he would pitch would do that.
Oh, he would. And he'd come in and say, hey, guys, all I need is one today. And that would work at times.
I was going to say, did you believe him?
Sometimes, yeah. Then he said it against the Big Red Machine, and we had to hold on for a 10-9 victory. Guess he needed more than that one run.
Maybe he meant he only needed a one-run lead.
That's exactly right.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Victorino. And he pops it up. Almost the same spot that he hit the ball in the first inning. Cantu, though, this time makes the call and makes the catch. Phillies do get a 1-out base hit by Carlos Ruiz. He's stranded at first. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 1-0 Phils.
Presenting the all-new Kizashi from Suzuki with available all-wheel drive. Words don't do it justice, but the experts are giving it their best shot. Buy any Suzuki model now and get free gas for the whole summer.
Thanks to Buick's quiet tuning process and the efficiency of our available V6 engine, this moment of solitude can be brought to you for up to 460 uninterrupted highway miles, courtesy of the all-new Buick LaCrosse. It's the new class of world class. Now lease a 2010 Buick LaCrosse CX for just $349 per month. Buick LaCrosse, the new class of world class.
We were born to see the world in 3 dimensions, and the new Panasonic Viera Full HD 3D TV is the ultimate 3D experience. Immerse yourself in incredible depth and clarity thanks to fast-switching phosphors and Infinite Black Panel Pro.
Panasonic Plasma is the difference.
With 3D this lifelike, can we still call it a TV?
Phillies baseball is brought to you by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. By Suzuki and the amazing Kizashi Sports Sedan. By Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phillies. Last of the 4th, Phillies lead at 1-0. They've had base runners against Josh Johnson. The same cannot be said for the Florida Marlins, as Roy Halladay has struck out 5 through the first 3 innings. And after throwing 19 pitches in the first inning, well, he has thrown just 21 in the last 2. And he'll begin against the top of the order, Chris Coughlin. He struck out looking his first time up. And the first pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1.
Yeah, Roy Halladay talked about hitting his spots and saying it didn't matter how many pitches he threw. He just wasn't hitting his spots in the other games.
Towards second base. Chase stays down on it. 1 away. Email, text, Twitter, and Facebook. 24/7 CSNPhilly.com is your best source for the latest news on Phillies teams. When and where you want it, be the first to know. Text alerts to 53695 or sign up for alerts at CSNPhilly.com. Well, tonight you can not only get your Phillies alerts, but you also can get your Flyers alerts. As game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Flyers and the Chicago Blackhawks is scheduled for today. Gabby Sanchez pops the first pitch foul just in front of us and out of play. I would think there are a number of Phillies fans / Flyer fans who will be getting their alerts here at the ballpark. That gentleman. Sanchez struck out swinging his first time up. And the count is even 1 ball and 1 strike.
Did you happen to get one of the giveaways today?
I did not get a tambourine. I did see one last night towards center field. Victorino moves back a few steps, 2 away. I have to admit, like you, I've seen a number of giveaways over the years. I don't think I've ever seen a tambourine giveaway, Sarge.
Well, likewise, and might be one of the giveaways that we could actually give away, if you will. I mean, come on. Remember the one time they had those rattlers and they were hitting them both together and making all of that noise?
You mean the Thunder Sticks?
Thunder Sticks?
Yeah.
Oh, my. Well, this is as bad as the Thunder Sticks. And
you don't think these folks are going to go home and use these use the tambourines at any point?
Oh, boy.
Hanley Ramirez grounded out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Well, they certainly come in handy at a ballpark. Well, if you don't like the tambourines and the way they sound or the Thunder Sticks, then you would not have played very well over in Japan.
Well, maybe not. I mean, the tambourines, the sticks, I think, were very annoying.
2-1 the count to Ramirez.
Surprised Wills hadn't said anything about these tambourines.
He mentioned them. No, he mentioned them.
I was going to say that, you know, he doesn't like noise. So, I mean, I know it had to irritate him. So.
Well, there's a big concert after the ball game tonight. This is a Super Saturday at the ballpark. Good breaking ball. 2-2 the count to Ramirez. So those tambourines are probably in honor of the concert that will take place.
Well, what a great pitch. Just late break on the cutter. Late of the break. Better for the pitcher because it fools the hitter.
Pop up. Right side. Foul territory. Howard is over. Does he have room? And he runs out of room. So 2-2 the count. Guy has a ball, a glove, and a tambourine. So your thought is, what's wrong with this picture? That's a foul ball into the Phillies bullpen. Nobody seemed to be that interested in getting up for it in the Phillies bullpen.
Yeah, as long as it's not going their way. Gets that foot down. You see how he gets the foot down? And those guys with that high leg kick, they have to get the foot down to be consistent and to make sure that they're driving the ball. If you don't, you'll pop it up the way Victorino's been doing.
And a called strike 3. 93 right at the knees. It's a 1-2-3 fourth inning for Roy Halladay. He is dealing tonight, folks. 6 strikeouts for Halladay. He has faced 12. He's retired all 12. Wilson Valdez will lead it off in the 5th.
With more loyal drivers than any other luxury brand over more of the last 10 years, we're saying thanks with unprecedented access to Lexus. Lease the 2010 HS250H for $359 a month for 36 months with $29.59 due at signing at your Lexus dealer.
Had my hip replaced recently.
A couple months after mine.
Same hip.
Same doctor.
Same place.
Jeff.
The doctors are just so experienced.
It was unbelievable.
And everyone goes out of their way to make you feel comfortable.
Though I'm sure they had their hands full with,
you know who.
So I'm back now, as good as ever.
All that good?
Well, a little help from the old man here.
Who you calling old?
And Jeff.
See what our Orthopedic Center of Excellence can do for you. Call 1-800-JEFF now.
As your love has evolved, so have your gifts. From I like you, I really like you. I love you. I will always love you. And sometimes a gift says you mean more to me than anything else in the world. Life insurance from New York Life ensures your loved ones will always be taken care of. With 165 years of financial strength, it's the most selfless gift you can give. New York Life, the company you keep.
Plan your meals now. June 7th is the next Phillies Frank's Dollar Dog Night. Order now at Phillies.com.
With more loyal drivers than any other luxury brand over more of the last 10 years, we're saying thanks with unprecedented access to Lexus. Lease the 2010 ES350 for $399 a month for 36 months with $35.99 due at signing at your Lexus dealer.
Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights are back at the ballpark, as everybody knows. Our next one will be Monday, June 7th, when the Padres are in town. Then Monday, July 5th, in honor of Sarge's birthday, it's when the Braves are in town. The Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights at the ballpark. You can log on to Phillies.com to make your purchase today. Go to the top of the 5th. Wilson Valdez leads it off. He's 2 for 2. He has scored the only run for the Phillies. Sarge, before the ball game, Charlie Emanuel was talking about Wilson Valdez being at the top of the order, and he said, well, you know, he's a 300 hitter in the minor leagues, and then Wilson said, I used to be at the top of the order in the minors. Does it carry over the same concepts?
No, because different hitters will hit different places once they get to the major leagues. You'll have guys that might hit third and good hitters that will be a leadoff hitter or hit maybe further back in that lineup. But I will say Valdez has been holding his own. I mean, just not swinging and missing. He's got a little decent idea at the plate, and he squared some balls up.
So he's swinging with a lot of confidence, too.
No doubt about it. You can hit a guy like this Johnson. That will give you really a lot of confidence to hit against other pitchers. You hit the best. The mediocre guys, you think you ought to get maybe 2 or 3 hits off of.
Valdez is down on strikes. 1 away here in the 5th inning. Well, both starting pitchers have been really good tonight. It's just a 1-0 game.
Yeah, when they're around the plate, that's what's going to happen. And this is just paint. Both those guys are doing. We talked about that early in the open here today. Both pitchers around the plate, cutters they're throwing. That's the two-seamer. Has everybody shaking their head in the ballpark.
Well, I got 11 strikeouts between the two. 5 hits for the Phillies. None so far for the Marlins. And here's Chase Utley with 1 out in the 5th. The big difference tonight is the number of pitches that have been thrown by the 2 starters. Josh Johnson, with 1 out here in the top of the 5th, has thrown 81 pitches. Meanwhile, Roy Halladay has thrown just 52 pitches.
And you're trying to work the count just to make sure you can get the pitch count up on Johnson.
Utley's 0 for 2, but his last at bat was the ball that glanced off the glove of Cameron Maybin in center that led to the lone run in this game.
Now, he hit that ball awful hard there to center field and just took off on him.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
That's a cutter, throws that ball in. Very good cutter. That's as good as a lot of pitchers' fastball. Take a look at the line there.
There's 6 base runners between the 5 hits that the Phillies have and the 1 walk. Back toward the middle, behind the bag. Ramirez has got it. He had Utley shaded that way, so it turned out to be an easier play.
Yeah, I thought Johnson might have touched that ball there. Just seemed to slow down a little bit. Maybe not. He's throwing hard, throwing a heavy sinker. Now watch this. That ball goes right through, and well, he doesn't hit it. Goes through, and Ramirez makes an easy play out of it. Yeah, these are the type of pitchers you get the opportunity to score a run or be able to get one. You got to be able to do it some kind of way. Get that bat on the ball. And you're facing guys like Drysdale, Gibson, Koufax. You don't get those opportunities very often during the course of the game.
Inside and low, 2-0 to Ryan Howard. I always marvel at why some of these pitchers like Josh Johnson and Roy Halladay, why they have trouble in that first inning or the second inning. You know, why are those the innings that you might be able to get some runs against them, and then they settle in and they're just firing? And especially coming from the bullpen. I mean, you're already heated up and warmed up. You know, you should be really ready to go, but it takes them until maybe that third, fourth inning, they really start to heat up. 3-1 now to Ryan as he lays off the off-speed pitch from Johnson.
Yeah, that's the test for him, to be able to hit that outside part of the plate. Especially Ryan now, he's moved off the plate now. And that's a tough pitch if it's a fastball away, and this is coming in. Just tied him up on that swing, not a fluid swing. Johnson varying the speeds on his fastball from 88 to about 96, throwing a two-seamer, a cutter. Comes over the top there, that 96, which is a straight one, a four-seamer.
Toward left field. Coghlan headed back and makes the catch. The ball was sinking once it left the bat of Ryan Howard. It's a 1-2-3 fifth inning for Josh Johnson. He's retired 5 in a row. We played 4.5. It's the Phillies 1, the Marlins nothing.
This is my bank.
This is my bank.
This is my bank. Last thing I need is more paper.
Less paper, more trees.
More trees, better air.
Every transaction I make with this.
Or this.
Or this.
I get a dime.
Save some green here.
Make some green.
Here.
Here.
I am a citizen, and this is my bank.
Closed captioning for the Phillies is provided by Finagle a Bagel, the world's best bagel. All natural, hand-boiled in bake. Available in your grocer's freezer.
Looking for vinyl floors, carpeting, area rugs? Stop in at Specialty Floors. We're half the price of shop-at-home companies. We have carpet for selling a home, for doing a guest room, apartment, or an office for only $1.98 a square foot installed. That's less than prices I had in 1984 when Specialty Floors began. Free estimates, best selection of styles and prices at Specialty Floors, Easton and Woodland Roads, Abington's Roslyn Valley.
The Hyundai Tent Event is going on now at Sussman Hyundai. Check out our great inventory of the latest Hyundais, like the all-new 2011 Sonata GLS. Lease it now for just $199 a month. Or lease the 2010 Elantra GLS for $159 a month. Or see the redesigned 2010 Tucson GLS. Lease it now for just $239 a month. Get gigantic savings now during the Hyundai Tent Event at Sussman Hyundai, Easton Road in Willow Grove, just 2 blocks south of the mall.
Today's Green Fact about Citizens Bank Park is brought to you by the Green Sense program at Citizens Bank. To offset the carbon footprint created by the team's utility power usage, the Phillies have purchased 20 million kilowatt hours of green power. It's equivalent to the planting of 100,000 trees. With Green Sense at Citizens Bank, get paid 10 cents every time you pay without paper, up to $120 per year. Jorge Cantu leads off the bottom of the 5th. 1-0 Phillies. Cantu, one of 6 strikeouts for Roy Halladay tonight. On the hands towards second. Nice play by Utley to his left, one away. That ball kind of skidded to the left of Chase, and he stayed with it the whole time.
Yeah, and it is a fast infield, meaning when that ball hits on the turf, it almost acts as if it's AstroTurf because it speeds up. That's why you saw Chase actually getting over as quick as he could. Take a look at it now. He knows that ball, not even looking at it. He's getting over right away and makes a fine play of it.
There's Dan Uggla. Swing and a miss by Uggla. He struck out his first time up. Well, right now he's just confusing these hitters with what he's throwing.
Oh, got them all off balance. And a lot of the hitters of the day, they guess. So they're trying to guess along with Halladay.
Roy Halladay has faced these Marlins 3 times before. And you see his distribution of outs. An ERA of a little more than 3 runs per game. A 1-1 record during those outings. And included in that was the 8-inning performance he had against them earlier this season at Citizens Bank Park, which we showed you during the outset of our telecast. Last year with the Blue Jays, when he faced the Marlins, he lasted only 3 innings on June 12th, because in the 4th he left with a strained groin. And he's fallen behind 3-2 to Ugla.
Really pitching Ugla hard inside. He's another one of those second basemen in the league that has tremendous power.
And he stays alive with that foul ball. Ugla not only is another one of those second basemen. Since 2006, he has more home runs than any other second baseman. Just 5 more than Chase.
That's impressive.
Towards straightaway center field. Plenty of room out there. Grand Canyon of center fields, and 2 outs now in the 5th. Look at the pitch count comparison. The only real rough inning for Halladay. Well, not the only real rough inning. The only long inning was that first.
Well, it makes a big difference too, though, when your fielders are catching the ball and even maybe making that error. You got to realize now Johnson has to throw more pitches to get another hitter out.
Well, we've seen that in Roy Halladay's last 5 starts. The Phillies as a team, and this isn't only when Halladay was in the game, but they've committed 10 errors in his last 5 starts. When he's in there, I believe it's 6 when he's out there.
Wow.
Cody Ross, the batter, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Ross.
Boy, he is painting that outside part of the plate, and this is after setting up his pitches, coming inside, moving that batter off the plate, and then being able to paint on the outside part, coming in again.
Right in on the hands. He broke his bat. He got a little squib roller to Ryan Howard, who takes it to the bag himself. Another 1-2-3 inning for Roy Halladay. 5 innings, 5 1-2-3 innings. We go to the 6th. It's a 1-run game.
This part is warthog tusk. This part, solid titanium.
There are only 49 others like it in the entire world.
It's damaged steel, the same kind they use in sword making.
It reproduces frequencies only dogs can hear.
There are excuses for spending money on luxury. And then there are reasons. Test drive any 5-star crash safety rated Acura at the Driven by Reason sales event.
Take advantage of attractive offers on the 2010 Acura MDX for well-qualified customers.
Chances to wear your colors. The Phils host the Blue Jays June 25th through 27th. Tickets on sale now at Phillies.com.
Job is the same, and it's being accomplished. When the Phillies need relief on the mound, it's there. Phillies lead at 1-0 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. It'll be Jason Worth, Raul Ibanez, and Juan Castro to start things off against Josh Johnson. Well, we said on paper during the outset of this game that this was a old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Well, it's not only old-fashioned, it is new-fashioned. I mean, it's everything that we anticipated. The Phillies scored their run on an error by the center fielder Cameron Maybin. They have 5 hits against Josh Johnson. Roy Halladay, meanwhile, has faced 15 batters. He's retired all 15. And he's going to stay hydrated as Jason Worth leads it off in the top of the 6th. And Jason is behind, no balls and 1 strike. Sarge, you and Milt Thompson are very good friends. You were a hitting coach for a number of years. You guys talk hitting all the time. When you look at Jason Worth, I mean, what do you see? What do you think Milt's seeing from Jason over the last few games?
Well, even on the pitch he just took, you can see he wasn't really having good balance. You know, and again, he likes his hands the way they are. I'd like to see him up a little bit more. And there's the pitch that he's been missing consistently, that fastball that is away. You know, again, when you're hitting, you got to have slow feet, but more importantly, you got to take that shoulder right toward the pitcher and not come off of it.
Swing and a miss, and Jason is struck out for the 2nd time tonight. 6 strikeouts for Johnson. So he and Roy Halladay both have 6. Well, there's no doubt Milt has watched Jason for these last few years, and like every hitter, you know, you get into ruts, and Jason gets into these little ruts, but he gets himself out of it.
Yeah, when you see that, though, the ball's away, then he has a swing as if the ball is inside. You got to be going more to, especially he's been getting all those pitches away. So now you got to be thinking maybe up the middle if you can, and to right center.
Ibanez is 0 for 2. And on the outside corner with the first pitch. And it's 0-1 to Raul. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There's that 95 again, reaching back. When you throw that ball 95 and you see it up there, now for a hitter, you said, okay, let me stay back or let me try and see the ball, and that's when you get that little off-speed pitch, and then you're thinking fastball trying to catch up to it.
Well, this is a guy in Josh Johnson who has been very comfortable here at this ballpark. Billy the Marlin has seen some very good games from Johnson during his career. Johnson did not have a very good spring. In fact, his terrible spring carried over to really his first 2 starts this year. But since those first 2 starts, his earned run average is 1.70. And when he was asked about those first 2 starts, he said, I'm not really sure why I was so bad, but I was bad at spring training, so it was kind of a carryover. But he said he used a couple of bullpen sessions with Randy St. Clair as pitching coach, his new pitching coach, and that kind of got him straightened out, and he's been on the straight and narrow ever since. Randy St. Clair, who was the longtime pitching coach for the Expos and the Nationals, took over from Mark Wiley at the start of this year. And he's been watching Josh Johnson from the other dugout the last few years, and I'm sure watching him from his own dugout is a whole lot better than watching him from the Nationals dugout.
Well, I got to tell you, this guy's an intimidator. 6'7" he stands on the mound, probably 250 plus, and I mean he is coming at you.
Back toward the middle, another base hit for Castro. He has 2 hits tonight.
Wow. Those are solid hits to right up the middle.
Castro has 2 hits. Ruiz has 2 hits. And Valdez has 2 hits. Down and away, 1 ball and no strikes to Carlos. Carlos reached on an infield single his first time up. Then he went off the wall and left. That was just a long single because he hit it so hard. The fact that he has 3 hits in the first 2 games of this series, though, maybe that's a good sign that he's starting to round back into similar form of what he had the first 6 weeks of the season.
And you can almost tell with the hitter. He drove that ball. Good fastball by Johnson. He drove that into left field. So he had to be able to get around it and see the ball well to do that. Well, Carlos, when he swings at those soft off-speed pitches going away, that's when he's having his problems. But he sits back, sees that ball there. He's pretty quick with the bat.
May sound strange, but that's not the worst thing in the world for him to take a strike there.
Oh, no, he's smart. He's working the count and making sure he's trying to get that pitch count up.
This is the 109th pitch of the night for Josh Johnson. And it's 3-1. There's Roy Halladay on deck.
Should be a predictable pitch, meaning fastball, but he's got to make sure it's in his location where he wants it. And that would probably be middle in. Looked like the slider or the cutter.
Hits it hard on one hop to Ramirez. Flips backhand to second in time to get Castro. The inning is over. Phil strand one. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. This might be it for Josh Johnson.
Take a Ram Heavy Duty, unanimous winner of Motor Trend's 2010 Truck of the Year. With the legendary reliability of an available 6.7-liter Cummins turbo diesel. Add a Ram 1500 with an available Hemi V8 that gets 20 highway MPG and is the most awarded Ram truck ever. Throw in a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And watch out, world. Here we come. Ram. At the 0% Memorial Day sales event, get 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 bonus cash on Ram 1500 Crew Cab.
Papa John stopped by a cooking show to make his pizzas for a live audience.
Papa's in the house. Everything we do, we just try to do it a little bit better.
Now create your own Papa John's pizza for just $10. Your recipe, our ingredients, all pizzas, even our signature specialties, just $10. Plus, Papa size your large pizza and make it 30% bigger for just $2 more. Order at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
We were born to see the world in 3 dimensions, and the new Panasonic Viera Full HD 3D TV is the ultimate 3D experience. Immerse yourself in incredible depth and clarity thanks to fast-switching phosphors and Infinite Black Panel Pro.
Panasonic Plasma is the difference.
With 3D this lifelike, can we still call it a TV?
Independence Blue Cross Phillies of the week are the Relief Corps. Out of the bullpen and into the spotlight, the Phillies relievers have stood tall behind the rotation throughout the first 2 months of the season. New faces have appeared in the late innings this season, but the job is the same, and it's being accomplished. When the Phillies need relief on the mound, it's there, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, that Phillies bullpen is enjoying what everybody else is enjoying tonight. Roy Halladay, who has not allowed a base runner through the first 5 innings tonight. He'll face the bottom 3rd for the Marlins as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Brett Hayes, Cameron Maben, and then the pitcher spot. And Tim Wood has just started to loosen up in the bullpen for the Marlins. Josh Johnson over 100 pitches through 6. Brett Hayes popped out softly to Chase Utley his first time up, 0 for 1. And he takes a breaking ball for strike 1. It's 0-1. All of his pitches tonight, Sarge, are around the plate.
Yeah, he's established that little strike zone, low and away on the outside part of the plate.
That's a foul ball into the seats over the Phillies bullpen. It's 0-2.
That's what a pitcher should do. I mean, you throw a ball that you think might be questionable and you're getting that call, well, you can go back to the well on that. He's established that he's going to call that ball low and away.
No 2 pitch to Hayes. Swing and a miss. He got him on a changeup. Ruiz will fire to first. Another strikeout for Halladay. That's number 7. Well, this has been really impressive tonight. 1 out in the 6th inning.
Now, this looks to be an off-speed pitch. Throws it right in the dirt. Might be that split that he throws. It did tumble down.
Well, with 1 out, here's Maben, who fly to center his first time up. 0 for 1. And he's showing bunt. And he takes it for a ball. He's been working on his bunting. There's Josh Johnson. He's going to grab a bat and come in the on-deck circle.
Well, he's not the worst hitter in the world to have at the plate.
If he's going to bunt, you mean?
No, Josh Johnson.
Oh, yeah. That's true. He could be better than some of their pinch hitters.
Well, 3 home runs in his short career and driven in 19 runs.
2-0 the count to Maben. And a swing and a miss. He swung right over top of that ball. It was moving every which way. It's 2-1.
Yeah, that's that mechanical swing that they developed on the tee there. That ball away. He didn't even venture to go that way. He's just kind of swinging in that area, if you will.
He's showing bunt again. It's 3-1. He was working on his bunting with Dave Collins before the ball game.
Dave Collins, first base coach, responsible for the bunting, the outfield, and base running.
This guy was a real good base stealer during his career with the Cincinnati Reds. And he could bunt, too.
Oh, boy.
Towards shortstop. This could be tough play because of Maben's speed. Valdez hurries in time to get Cameron Maben. 6-3 on the putout, 2 away.
Oh, boy, that was a test. But again, we talked about it before. Valdez has a very strong arm. He can go into the hole. Not a big guy at all. He goes into the hole. He's got something to throw with.
2 outs for Josh Johnson. Tim Wood is sat down in the bullpen for the Marlins. Johnson struck out his first time up, and he takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1.
See, that's what I'm talking about. And there's Valdez in that arm of his, and he did get him.
In the air to left field, right at Raul Ibanez. He's under it, makes the catch. Roy Halladay has faced 18. He's retired all 18 tonight here at Sun Life Stadium. The Phillies will take a 1-0 lead into the 7th inning.
For the thirsty, for those who hang out in packs, for heroes, for sidekicks, for those who see the glass half empty, for those who see it half full, for those on the right, for those on the left, for those with nicknames, for those with curves, for people that cycle, for people that recycle, for BFFs, for frenemies, for those with style, for lovers, for families, for big families, for everyone.
Why do birds sing in the morning? Why do cats sleep in that warm little patch of sun? Why are these people driving through the desert, watching movies on dual monitors, listening to Sirius satellite radio, and using voice-activated navigation? Because they can, that's why. Just because they can.
At the 0% Memorial Day sales event, get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,500 combined cash allowance on Grand Caravan.
Good boy.
Maybe if you put the pen in your mouth.
Hey, congratulations. Your family just signed up for FiOS.
I told you we love Xfinity from Comcast.
Xfinity. That's just a snazzy new name, isn't it?
Actually, it's an entire network upgrade. We get much faster internet, more HD, thousands of choices on demand, and my favorite TV shows and movies on my computer.
True, but the dog already signed the contract.
He's a basset hound.
Who's locked into a FiOS contract.
Don't fall for FiOS. Visit Xfinity.com to learn more.
Well, time now for the Verizon Wireless Game Summary here from Sun Life Stadium. It's a smoking hot night, and then you see Valdez scored on that 3-base error by Cameron Maben. Josh Johnson is still in the ball game. Roy Halladay can't get any better, and he's been here tonight. And you see Valdez, Castro, and Ruiz. That's what you would expect. You know, when you wrote that lineup out tonight, did Charlie Manuel, that you get 6 hits from those guys.
Well, Halladay will lead it off here in the 7th inning, and as Will said, Josh Johnson remains out there. Johnson thrown 110 pitches. And his first pitch here in the top of the 7th is a fastball inside, 1-0.
Okay, Halladay to this point 74.
74 pitches so far. He has struck out 7 batters. Halladay has.
Well, you could see he was really good early in the game. He ran some deep counts, but he had great stuff right out of the chute tonight.
Down and away, 2-1 the count. Josh Johnson, the most pitches he's thrown in a game this year is 117. This is a guy who is coming off Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they're extending him tonight, although they do have Tankersley up now, the left-hander.
Chopper right side. Gabby Sanchez has it. Johnson covers, and Halladay's retired. Time now for our Coors Light Freeze Cam. The Phillies have 1 run tonight, and that 1 run scored in the 3rd on this ball hit by Chase Utley. Cameron Maben misjudged it, and that is what happened initially, and he couldn't hang on, and it rolled all the way back to the warning track, and Wilson Valdez scored.
Boy, that was a great shot on that freeze cam.
Sure was.
See how that thing was right in the webbing of the glove when he went to squeeze it or whatever happened. Maybe he was bouncing, his feet were bouncing, and it just went right out of the glove.
Shane Victorino takes the first pitch from Johnson inside. It's 1-0. There's Taylor Tankersley, who pitched in last night's ball game.
And he's the left-hander out of the pen now. Pinto is on the DL because you used to see him a lot. Looks like they're giving him 2 more batters for sure. You know, you have a right-handed hitter on deck in Valdez, even though he's hit him tonight. Then the left-handers come along.
Mentioned that Josh Johnson is coming off Tommy John surgery as Victorino holds a swing, according to the third base umpire Bill Welke. You know, since he had that Tommy John surgery and recouped and came back, he is 27-7.
Yeah, he's been better.
That one's hit hard. A base hit for Victorino. A good hitter's count, and he was able to drill it into right for a 1-out single. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your participating Philadelphia area Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Toyota. Toyota's national sales event is going on now. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today. Outside Sun Life Stadium on a warm night. And Wilson Valdez is the batter. You know, think about Johnson. He's thrown 120. This will be 121 pitches. But he is still in the mid-90s with his fastball.
Oh, yeah. You know, he's a big-time pitcher. We talked about what a horse he is, but you figure this is it. With the left-handed hitters coming in, Utley and Howard, and the left-hander Tankersley up, this is the last hitter I would imagine.
Valdez is 2 for 3. And a chopper back toward the middle. Could be 2. Ugla steps on the bag. An easy double play. Josh Johnson faces just this one last batter and gets a double play ball. So he's through 7. It's time to stretch here at Sun Life Stadium. A 1-0 game with Roy Halladay having the lead.
If you need any more reasons to get out and make the most of this time of year, your Jeep dealer has 5 that get you into it like nothing else. Feel the freedom of a legendary Jeep Wrangler, capable Grand Cherokee, Sky Slider equipped Liberty, or fuel-efficient Patriot and Compass. Now during the Jeep Spring Drive, get 0% financing for 60 months or $5,000 combined cash allowance on Jeep Grand Cherokee. I live, I ride, I am. Jeep.
Phillies take on the Braves Monday, July 5th through Wednesday the 7th. Great baseball, great promotions. Order now.
Hey, Parker, want to race home? Bet I can beat you there.
With its 43 safety features, like the Parkview rear backup camera,
Hi, sweetie. There you
electronic vehicle information center, and rear cross path detection system, Now available in the Safety Tech package. The Chrysler Town & Country is a safe bet to make.
Now during the 0% Memorial Day sales event, get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,500 combined cash allowance on Town & Country.
Monday afternoon, watch as the Phillies take the field for a day game against the Braves. Finish the game with expert analysis on Phillies Postgame Live. Phillies, Braves. Coverage begins Monday afternoon at 1, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Available in HD.
Time now for the Dodge Stuff the Fans Trivia Quiz Answer. Wheels, can you name the athlete who played for a World Series and an NBA championship in the 1950s?
No, but I got a few texts from friends, so I'm going to throw one of theirs out there. Gene Conley.
Gene Conley would be correct.
Wow.
57 Braves, 58-59 Celtics.
I just wanted you to know I didn't know that. But
nice
Gene
to have friends, though, Wheels.
Yeah, Gene Conley did pitch for the Phillies, of course. There you see with the Milwaukee Braves and the Boston Celtics, and he pitched for the Phillies for several years.
Chris Coghlan leads it off here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And Phillies had another NBA player pitch for them, of course, who did a great job, and that was Ron Reed.
Ron Reed. Gene Conley won 91 games during his career.
He was tall.
He stood 6'8", 225 pounds.
Oh yeah, he's a big pitcher.
2-1 to Coghlan, waved at and missed. It's 2-2. Coghlan is 0 for 2. He has struck out and he's grounded out.
1959 and 1960 in the Phillies uniform.
Won 8 games in 1960 with the Phillies. 2-2 the count to Coghlan. On the outside corner, called strike 3. Coghlan didn't like that pitch in the first inning, and he doesn't like it here in the 7th inning, but it's the 8th strikeout for Halladay.
You can see Demure had a big plate from the beginning of this game tonight, and that could be good for 2 tremendous pitchers like are out there in Josh Johnson and Roy Halladay. And as Tom said, the first inning, he had that same fastball called for a strike on the outside corner. He didn't agree with it then. He doesn't agree with it now, but he's gone twice.
8 strikeouts for Halladay. Gabby Sanchez takes a hook inside. It's 1-0. Sanchez is 0 for 2. We've been saying that a lot tonight. 0 for this, 0 for that. He has struck out and he's popped out. Toward third base, a foul ball. Pop-up to the right of home plate. It looks playable for the time being. Ruiz trying to track it, and it's back into the seats. And it's 1-2. Hey, a great item for all Phillies fans. It's called Phillies, an Extraordinary Tradition. It's a hardcover coffee table book. It's a definitive pictorial history of the Phillies, featuring over 400 photos, plus rare pieces of memorabilia and original essays from Phillies stars past and present. Call 877-GO-PHIL. Stop by the Majestic Clubhouse store or get it online in the fans section at Phillies.com. The 1-2 pitch to Sanchez. Again hit foul. Sanchez is riding a 5-game hitting streak after getting a hit in 4 at-bats last night. Josh Johnson went 7 innings tonight, or has gone 7. He's allowed 7 hits and 1 unearned run. He's been outdueled by Roy Halladay. And it's 3-2 to Gabby Sanchez. Here's Clay Hensley, pretty good right-handed pitcher who's loosening up in the pen for the Marlins. Josh Johnson, who said before the ball game, I think the key tonight is to not change anything that you're supposed to do. Toward left field. Pretty well hit, but playable for Ibanez. 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
Somebody just threw a 3-2 curveball in this situation.
Well, what did he say? First start that he made?
Right.
That he throws his curve. It's his jam pitch.
And it's a jam and surprise pitch. And you want to see a hitter who was surprised? Watch this. Watch Gabby Sanchez kind of double pump on this. Like, oh, that's going to be a strike. I got to swing at it. And so he got nothing behind it and just hit the weak fly ball to left field. And that was a strike right down the middle with a tremendous curveball.
Hanley Ramirez is 0 for 2. He's grounded to second, and he is struck out looking. Halladay has struck out 8. He's mixed in ground ball outs, strikeouts, and flyouts tonight. And he delivers a fastball for strike 1 to Ramirez. He put a little extra on that one. 95, and it's 1-1. That changeup makes it 2 balls and 1 strike to Ramirez. Ramirez, who last year led the league in hitting at .342.
See him going that rosin back, and I was talking about in the first 3 innings how much he's wiping his hand and going that rosin back because it is so hot and humid here.
After the last couple of outings, though, he probably likes this these warm temperatures. Inside, 3-1. He has had a handful of 3-ball counts tonight. Not as many lately as he had in the first inning. As Cantu waits on deck. In fact, he's had 6 3-ball counts, but half of them were in the first inning. Or 2 of the 3 were in the first. 2 of the 6 were in the first inning. 3-1 pitch to Ramirez. And he hits it foul. It's 3-2.
That was ball 4. And he got Ramirez to chase a sinker, it looked like. See, this pitcher's going to be low. Well, you know, it's hard to tell. You see from the side angle sometimes pitches that look low from the center field camera are knee high. That was close.
On the inside corner, called strike 3. 9 strikeouts for Roy Halladay. He has stunned one Marlins hitter after another. He has faced 21 batters tonight. He has retired all 21. This is number 21. Halladay takes a no-hitter into the 8th inning.
I'm 1, I'm 2, I'm 3 times all into you. Inside my heart it still beats. I'm 4, I'm 5, I'm 6 at the best of times, but inside my heart it still beats. Bum, bum.
Engineered so well, it's been named one of Car and Driver's 10 best more times than any other car.
Look for money-saving leases and low financing at your Honda dealer, or go to shophonda.com.
Oh, hi, Alice. Boss.
Sure could use a cup of coffee, Stanley. And something hot and sweet for Alice.
He likes her.
Really?
We've got lots of Green Mountain flavors from W.B. Mason.
The same guys we get our cleaning and office supplies from.
I love the way you clean.
Oh, it's janitors in love. Inflated gas bag.
Exceptional taste, that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
Phillies baseball is brought to you by Honda. Look for money-saving leases and low financing at your Honda dealer. By Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by your local Dodge dealers. Well, the breezes are blowing outside Sun Life Stadium. And the ball is moving every which way for that guy, Doc Halladay. He has a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the 8th inning, and there's nobody getting near him in the dugout. They don't really talk to him too much on a normal day, but this is not a normal day for Roy Halladay. He has been as good as you can be with 9 strikeouts over 7 innings. And Clay Hensley takes over for Josh Johnson, who was equally as impressive in his own way through 7 for the Marlins.
Yeah, when you look at the Phillies team that couldn't score runs, not able to get them in any which way, they got a gift run here tonight to lead 1-0.
Chase Utley, he was the one who hit the ball that led to the gift for the Phillies back in the 3rd. It was a ball off the glove of Cameron Maybin that scored Wilson Valdez with the game's only run. Chase is 0 for 3. And Hensley delivers a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The Hensley we're talking about is Clay Hensley, the former San Diego Padre.
Remember, he was with the Padres. He was a sinker ball pitcher.
Kind of came 3/4 when he was with the Padres. Not as much anymore. And that one's hit into center field. That's pretty well hit. Maybin going back has room. Oh, there's so much room out there. We said that about Citi Field. This is equally as deep at this ballpark, and 1 out.
Especially in that area.
Runs and hits have been tough to come by. Phillies scored that unearned run back in the 3rd. That's when Ryan Howard was intentionally walked after the ball that Utley hit. 0 for 2 officially. And he lays off a breaking ball, and it's 1-0. Year in and year out, the Marlins bullpen is changed. They tinker with it. I mean, every team does, but probably more than any other team. Part of that has to do with where they want to keep the salaries. The other part of it is that they generally have young players that they mix in with veterans like Hensley. And Jeffrey Loria, whose team is going to move into a brand new facility in 2012. May not have to worry about that as much in the future. But for now, he's got to maintain a certain payroll, which is, rising from time to time, or from year to year, I should say. But guys like Hensley and Kiko Calero last year, and Dan Meyer, they're brought in to complement Hanley Ramirez and guys like that.
Well, they've come up with a closer now in Nunez.
That one's hit hard but foul by Ryan Howard. But it's 2-2.
They were competitive their first year in the league as an expansion team because they had Brian Harvey. And, not that they won a ton of games, but they were in a lot of games. And when Brian Harvey, they had a lead, he'd shut you down. He was a veteran guy, came over from the Angels, I think it was.
Well, the gentleman you saw next to Jeffrey Loria sitting in the stands is Michael Hill, who's their general manager. There's Michael. And it's his responsibility, along with Larry Beinfest, who's the Marlins president, to, make sure that this team is competitive, but with not a very high salary. And Howard is down on strikes. 2 outs. So 2 away, and that'll bring Jason Worth to the plate. Jason's hitless in 3 at-bats, a ground out and a couple strikeouts. There has not been a stretch where Jason has struggled as much as this stretch that he's in right now.
Humbling game.
Yeah, and it's only been 9 games, but it does, it does, as Will said, humble you. That ball is hit high in the air to left center, not deep, and Coughlin makes the catch, and the Phillies go down in order here in the 8th inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils. We've played 7.5. We head on to the bottom of the 8th, and Roy Halladay heads back to the mound.
If I were a customer, I like nonstop travel because it's quicker, because it's convenient. It's just the best way to go. Keeps the cost down.
Starting June 27th, fly one of Southwest Airlines' 5 new nonstop flights out of Philadelphia to Boston Logan.
It means more time doing the things I want to do. It's easy. It's hassle-free. There's no headaches.
Now you can fly Southwest from Philadelphia to all 3 of our Boston area airports for only $69 one way.
I like nonstop travel because you don't got any more stuff. I don't know what to...
The
expectation. The B vitamins and carbs to ignite. The during, the collision, the power, the original Gatorade. The after, the gratitude, the protein to recover. Introducing the G Series from Gatorade. Prime, perform, recover.
It's the Chevy Spring Event, and everyone deserves a car they can count on. One that's backed by a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy 2 years in a row. Discover Malibu for yourself and see why over 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy.
During the spring event, qualified lessees now get a 27-month low-mileage lease on this Malibu LS for around $199 a month. Call for details. Visit ChevyDealer.com.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Phillies and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Phillies.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Phillies lead it 1-0. Roy Halladay will face 4, 5, and 6 for the Marlins. It's Jorge Cantu to lead it off for Florida. Cantu is 0 for 2. He has struck out and he's grounded out. And he just gets out of the way of that one. It's 2-0. That ball was not only coming at 92, but it was moving.
Yeah, with those blousy uniforms, that looked like I had a chance to nip him.
He tops it. And Halladay's got a strike. 2-1. Roy has struck out 9 so far in this game through the first 7 innings. Hit hard toward third. Flag down on one hop by Castro. The throw is in time to get Cantu. 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Boy, Halladay walked right off the mound towards Castro and gave him a nice going.
Charlie Manuel was asked today about Castro playing third. Well, this is one of the big reasons why he decided to put Castro at third.
Here's our Home Depot defensive play of the game. That ball was smoked on one hop, and he makes a tremendous play.
Home Depot defensive play of the game. The Home Depot doing more on defense. Dan Uggla has struck out, and he's fly to center. I have an umbrella over the 8 on the fly ball to center, but nothing has really been that deep tonight against Halladay. And he takes one at the knees for a strike. It's 1-1. The pace of this game with Halladay and Johnson has been unbelievable, and Roy is just getting the ball and getting on the rubber and firing, and he just misses with a curve, and it's 2-1. How do you answer all the questions about the number of pitches you've thrown in the last few starts? Well, if Charlie Manuel had a way to answer it, this is a perfect way to answer it tonight, because he has thrown a lot of strikes. And it's even 2-2 to Uggla. On the outside corner, strikeout number 10 for Halladay as Uggla goes down looking.
That was a strike, too. That ball came running back.
The last time the Phillies had a no-hitter, it was Kevin Millwood at the Vet against the Giants on the 27th of April, 2003. And it was Ricky Halladay who made a couple of really good catches to help preserve the no-hitter.
That was Marquise Grissom. Hit those balls, too.
And there it is, the final out. A big hug from Jim Thome. 2 big guys right there enjoying what was a beautiful day at the ballpark. Cody Ross, the hitter. And he pops the first pitch up foul into the seats. 0-1. Ross hit one to Castro at third back in the second inning. Hit one softly to Howard at first. And he pops it up. Shallow left field. Valdez pointed, and then he settles under it, and he makes the catch. Halladay has faced 24 batters tonight. He has retired all 24. It's an unbelievable performance that's brewing here in South Florida. We have completed 8 in Miami. It's the Phillies 1, the Marlins nothing.
This is my bank.
This is my bank.
This is my bank. Last thing I need is more paper.
Less paper, more trees.
More trees, better air.
Every transaction I make with this
Or this.
I get a dime.
Save some green here.
Make some green
here.
Here.
I am a citizen, and this is my bank.
This part is warthog tusk. This part, solid titanium.
There are only 49 others like it in the entire world.
It's damaged steel, the same kind they use in sword making.
It reproduces frequencies only dogs can hear.
There are excuses for spending money on luxury. And then there are reasons. Test drive any 5-star crash safety rated Acura at the Driven by Reason sales event.
Take advantage of attractive offers on the 2010 Acura MDX for well-qualified customers.
There we go. Good boy. Maybe if you put the pen in your mouth.
Hey, congratulations! Your family just signed up for Fios.
I told you we love Xfinity from Comcast.
Xfinity. That's just a snazzy new name, isn't it?
Actually, it's an entire network upgrade. We get much faster internet, more HD, thousands of choices on demand, and my favorite TV shows and movies on my computer.
True, but the dog already signed the contract.
He's a basset hound.
Who's locked into a Fios contract.
Don't fall for Fios. Visit Xfinity.com to learn more.
It has been a hard night's work for Roy Halladay. He is through 8 innings. He has not allowed a base runner. We go to the top of the 9th inning. The Phillies lead it 1-0. This man has been on the precipice of history during the course of his career, and he has spun an unbelievable outing tonight. Very few have gone near him in the dugout. Very few go near him anyway, but look at that line. 10 strikeouts over 8 innings, no hits, no walks. And as we go to the top of the 9th inning, Leo Nunez is on for the Marlins, and Raul Ibanez leads it off for the Phillies.
Yeah, and the reality of the game, besides all this unbelievable stuff going on with Halladay, it's 1-0.
1-0.
So they're going to use Nunez here to keep it to a 1-run game.
Very good point.
Try and keep it to a 1-run game at home. This is some game. We started it as a pretty good matchup here tonight. These two right-handers. And it's not been bad.
And we always say when we have these kind of matchups, well, on paper it's this, on paper on that. Very few times does it turn out to be like this.
It's been pretty good.
Yep. Josh Johnson, the starter for the Marlins, went the first 7. Clay Hensley pitched the 8th. And now Nunez here in the 9th inning. The man is a thinker, and you wonder what he's thinking about right now. You know what he's probably thinking about? Brett Hayes, Cameron Maybin, and a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 9th inning.
He's thinking about winning a game, too.
3-0. He got the green light, and he rolls it right inside the first base bag. 1 away. Sanchez takes care of Ibanez.
You think about a hitter off their bench. They have one left-handed batter, and that's Mike Lamb. So, there's a pretty good chance we're going to see him in the 9th inning.
Yeah, they have one of the game's better pinch hitters in Wes Helms, but he's a right-handed hitter. Here's Castro, who has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. He doubled back in the 2nd, flied out to center in the 4th, and singled in the 6th. And he hits it in the air to right. Pretty deep, but it's playable for Ross. That is no man's land out there in right. 2 away in the 9th. Carlos Ruiz has 2 hits. He is an infield single, and he drilled one to left back in the 4th, and he's also bounced into a fielder's choice. Phillies lead the division by a game and a half over the Atlanta Braves, who are leading their ball game against the Pirates. The Marlins are the bottom team, 4 games out. Roy Halladay waiting on deck. And Carlos takes a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. Leo Nunez has had a good year for the Marlins, an ERA of 2.21. He has a very good fastball and a really good changeup. And he's ahead 0-2 to Ruiz. They got him in a deal for Mike Jacobs from the Kansas City Royals, and what a find he became. Speaking of fines.
Yeah, well, he was kind of guaranteed.
Yeah, he was.
He's been pretty good before he got in this uni.
Ruiz stays alive. He wasn't sure whether to swing, whether to stop, or then swing again.
You know, give Chooch a lot of credit here tonight too, the way he's handled Roy Halladay. You know, watching it, you know, you don't always know when they're shaking off, because sometimes guys will stare in when they want another pitch. They won't necessarily shake or do something with their glove, or they'll just keep looking in there. But they have been in a very, very good rhythm tonight.
Absolutely. Again, he fouls it off. There remains no balls and 2 strikes. Let's face it, it's important whenever a pitcher puts together the night that Roy Halladay has put together, you know, that the defense plays sound behind him, and he's gotten some good defensive plays. There was one by Chase Utley earlier in the game to his left on a ball that just kept on scooting to his left that he tracked down. The play by Castro over third, but then, you know, sometimes you see all those highlights of the sound defense behind him. You kind of forget about the catcher.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up about him. What a good job he's done tonight.
It's also given him a few extra moments to catch his breath in the on-deck circle with these foul balls.
Pitchers and catchers, there's a rhythm involved, and especially with a veteran guy. This guy, Moyer tomorrow, they don't want to be out there shaking off. You know, they have a game plan. They go over with a catcher and the pitching coach before the game. There's Jamie, and they want to execute it.
Towards second base, softly hit. Uggla's got it. Throws to first. The inning is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies. Here in the top of the 9th inning, Carlos Ruiz will take the slow stroll back to the dugout. The Phillies as a team will start to settle down into their positions as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Roy Halladay has a 1-0 lead. He has faced 24 batters so far, and he will go back to work without allowing a base runner. And let's see how he's gotten to this point so far, Wheels.
Well, he came right out of the chute with great stuff here tonight with strikeouts in the first inning. Here's Coughlin. He thought this pitch is outside. It's right on the corner. He threw the bat away. Eventually struck out. There's another strikeout. He has 10 of them so far. He got Cantu. There's one on Uggla. He's pitched very well with off-speed stuff. He's gotten Hanley Ramirez twice called. Now here we go into the 6th inning. Brett Hayes tops one in front of the plate. And then here's this ground ball. That is a very close play at first on a good play by Valdez. Now here we go to the 7th inning. Strikeout again on Coughlin away. Here's a fly ball on Sanchez on a 3-2 curveball. And then Ramirez again locked on a 3-2 fastball in the inside corner. We go to the 8th inning. Tremendous play here by Juan Castro. Circle that baby. And then he strikes out Uggla again, looking on a fastball that tailed back over the plate. And then that pitch right there is popped up by Cody Ross to Juan Castro, who squeezes it. And that's a pretty good inning.
How about the splits for Roy Halladay? 7 groundouts, 7 flyouts, and 10 strikeouts. Bottom of the 9th inning here at Sun Life Stadium in South Florida. The Phillies with an unearned run in the top of the 3rd lead it 1-0. Roy Halladay has faced 24 batters tonight. He's retired all 24. He has had a handful of 3-ball counts and a handful of 3-2 counts tonight. But he has been around the plate, and when he's needed a strikeout, he's gotten a strikeout. Now, the last no-hitter here in South Florida was from tomorrow's starting pitcher, Anibal Sanchez, September 6th, 2006. And who can forget the ground ball to shortstop that finished it off, and how long it took for this throw to get over to first. And the no-hitter was complete by Sanchez.
Here's Mike Lamb coming up right out of the chute.
Mike Lamb will pinch hit for Brett Hayes to lead off the bottom of the ninth. And a breaking ball a little low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Lamb, who was just recalled from the minor leagues just a couple days ago, hits one hard but foul, and it's 1-1. Overall, he's batting .211 with no homers and 3 RBIs, and he's had 14 at-bats against Halladay for his career. 2 hits during that time. What a night for Philadelphia. You got the Flyers and the Blackhawks playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, and you got Roy Halladay twirling a masterpiece down here in Miami.
Quiet bullpen. 1-0 game.
In the air to center field. Pretty deep. Victorino on the run toward the warning track. Roy Halladay is 2 outs away.
Not using the ballpark because this place is huge, and he kept it in the middle of the field, and Shane ran it down. That was a deep fly ball.
The last perfect game in Phillies history. Who could forget Jim Bunning at Shea Stadium?
Father's Day. Got Johnny Stevenson for the last out on a swing and a miss on a breaking ball. There it was.
That was a heck of a pitch right there. You talk about movement. There was a whole lot of movement right there.
Well, Buns had a pretty good breaking ball. I shouldn't call him that. He's a senator now. But he wouldn't mind.
Mr. Senator had a pretty good breaking pitch that night. Halladay just standing on the mound. There's Cookie Rojas. Where was he when that perfect game was thrown? Well, he was playing shortstop and played a little left field that day. He was 1 for 3 behind Jim Bunning.
Yeah, Wino came in that game. Bobby Wine played short, and Tony Taylor was the second baseman.
Wes Helms will pinch hit with 1 out here in the 9th inning. Maben was up at the plate, and they called him back. And Helms takes one at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. Josh Johnson went 7 for the Marlins. He allowed an unearned run. He struck out 6. Roy Halladay hasn't needed any help tonight. Swing and a foul tip. It's 0-2. So many folks say he's not a strikeout pitcher. Well, he's got 10 tonight.
It's a great shot of the bench.
Ooh, and it just missed. They're guarding the line at third. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Helms. On the inside corner, strikeout number 11. And Halladay is 1 out away from completing a perfect game. Wow.
It's going to be Ronnie Paulino.
3 straight pinch hitters. Boy, he is just painting.
Well, that's the way he's been all night. You know, he had a home plate umpire who's had corners on the plate tonight, and he's taking advantage of it.
Paulino, a 5-game hitting streak. Swings at the first pitch, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Charlie Manuel hasn't moved in quite some time, nor is Rich Doobie. 1-1 the count to Paulino. Earlier this week, Charlie was moving every which way in that dugout, trying to change his team's luck. He doesn't want to change anything tonight. One and two the count.
Change up.
Saw the wiggle of the fingers from Carlos Ruiz. Paulino down to the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Those tambourines are coming in handy now. Everybody on their feet. Halladay's got his signs. The 1-2 pitch. Hit toward third. Castro has it. Spins, fires. A perfect game! Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history. He faces It's the 20th perfect game in baseball history and the second one this year.
He finally smiles. Boy, this is a throw.
That man has seen so much during his career. These fans, well, they probably believed from the 4th inning on. What a night here in South Florida as Roy Halladay has thrown a perfect game. He didn't crack a smile all night long. He can crack as many smiles and as many bottles of champagne as he wants to now.
What a thrill to watch that.
Unbelievable.
Well, you know, come to a Major League Baseball game, you tell people you never know what can happen when you show up, and tonight you thought you might see a pretty good pitching performance. A perfecto in a Phillies uni. Wow.
They call it Super Saturday here at South Florida. Well, when they called it that, I'm not sure if they expected this.
Look, they may be going out to try and get the pitching rubber right now. I see Frank Koppenbarger out there talking to the ground crew, and they may be asking for it. Here's the final out. Looked like a cutter away. Castro, and here's Halladay. Yeah, that's about as emotional as he gets, huh?
Oh boy, oh boy. How about Carlos Ruiz? We'll set it. What a night for Carlos. You don't think he's taking pride in this? A perfect game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, here it is again. Off the end of the bat, it wasn't hit real hard, but he knows he has a lot of time, does Castro, because the catcher's running. And he took his time and made sure he made the right throw. And, you know, now they're going to have a concert here, and the lights are going off in this place. But unbelievable night, Tommy.
Well, let's go down quickly to Sarge, who's with Roy Halladay. Sarge, take it away.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot. Roy, 27 batters, 27 outs. Tell us a little bit about it.
I don't know what to say. You know, we felt like we got in the groove early. And, you know, about the 5th or 6th, I was just following Chooch. You know, I can't say enough about the job he did today. Mixed pitches. You know, for me, it was really a no-brainer. It was, you know, once we got to the 5th or 6th, I just followed him.
Yeah, a lot of times when you come from the bullpen, a lot of times, especially number ones, they don't seem to be ready, and that's when teams take advantage of them. But you seem to have good stuff right away.
Yeah, we, you know, talking to Jamie and some other guys, had some things that I wanted to work on. And, you know, I felt good with it. I felt like, you know, early in my bullpen, I was hitting spots more than I had been. So, you know, I felt like I just carried that out there.
Last question. How about all the Philly fans here standing up, coming in that 9th inning? Did you feel it?
Yeah, it was awesome. I don't know what else to say.
Right, thank you. All right, guys, back up to you.
All right, Sarge, thank you very much. Boy, we could say we're privileged to have seen a lot of things over the last handful of years. A World Series championship, 2 straight World Series appearances. But, man, are we privileged to watch what we saw tonight.
I've got 40 years watching games. I've never seen a perfect game in person. I've seen no hitters. Never saw a perfect game. It's great.
Well, let's take a look at this final out. Look at the way that ball was moving right at the end. The reaction by Roy Halladay.
Yeah, it looked like a little cutter that he threw in there. And he just trickled it off the end of the bat. When that was first hit, you thought, uh-oh, that's in the hole.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
But then you realized it didn't have much juice behind it, and Juan was right there to cut it off because that ball was in the hole. But and it was really neat the way he talked about Chooch there and the way they worked together, because it became pretty obvious that game was going on. He wasn't shaking them off. It didn't seem like. They were just working great together.
Well, what a gift for this ball club. What a gift for that guy. What a gift for all Phillies fans. Don't forget our next telecast will be tomorrow in Florida. So much more coming up on Phillies Post Game Live, so stay with us. He's got his signs. The 1-2 pitch. Hit toward third. Castro has it. Spins, fires. A perfect game! Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history. He faces 27 batters. He retires all 27. It's the 20th perfect game in baseball.
Welcome into history. Ronnie Paulino to Juan Castro. Roy Halladay throws the second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history. Think about that. Unbelievable. What a night in Philadelphia sports as we welcome you in to Phillies Postgame Live, brought to you by Sloan Toyota. I'm Greg Murphy alongside Ricky Metallico. Even the fans in South Florida on their feet. They witness history tonight. We in the newsroom watching history tonight. What a night for Roy Halladay. What a night for the Fightin' Phils.
Unbelievable. I mean, this guy was, from the get-go, he looked like he had great stuff. I mean, the first 2 innings, threw a lot of pitches in the first and then settled right down, moved right along. Didn't even bat an eye. Yeah. I got to tell you something. I was sitting in the newsroom watching. I'm nervous. I was fired up for the guy. He got the no-hitter. He was like, yep, get it. I think deep down inside he knew this day would come at some point.
Yeah, you know what? We've talked about that. You thought you were going to see Roy Halladay at some point throw a no-hitter, but to top it off with a perfect game, something special.
Oh, man. You know what? Anything about a perfect game is special. I don't care what team's doing it, but your own team doing it, and this guy comes off of a bad start against the Red Sox, and everybody's talking about how many pitches he threw the other day. All of a sudden he throws a perfect game. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is baseball.
We are juiced, no doubt about it. And what a night, you know, in Philadelphia sports when you stop to think about it. But for what Roy Halladay to do what he just did, you know, you're talking about over 100 years of history in the Philadelphia franchise, and it's been 46 years since, of course, Jim Bunning did it on Father's Day in 1964, since a perfect game has been thrown. We've seen no-hitters. They come few and far between, but a perfect game is even more special. 27 up and 27 down. And he said it to Sarge just a minute ago, after the 6th inning, he had a feeling. He had a feeling it was working for him.
I wish you would have told us.
Yeah, we could have relaxed a little bit.
We're nervous watching him. You know what, though? You know what's very impressive about Roy? He just went out there and very calm, cool, collected, made his pitches. He knew where his strike zone was. Both he and Josh Johnson were getting the outside corner, and he was painting out there, knee-high painting. We said one thing before going into this game, that he was up in the zone against the Red Sox. He definitely was down in the zone today, and he pitched unbelievably well.
He really did. Well, why don't we take you through it? Because I guess it all starts to, you start to wonder about the 6th inning. He gets through 6 innings, hasn't allowed a base runner. So this is in the bottom of the 7th now. That's Coughlin striking out, looking, and then up comes Sanchez. What's he going to do? Flies out to left. So now 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning.
That was a huge pitch.
And you really start to think, all right. He only needs, what, 7 more outs? And then he gets Ramirez looking right there. Hanley Ramirez not happy about that one. But, hey, he was getting those calls all night on both sides.
Yes, he was.
So to the 8th inning we go. Bottom of the 8th inning, Jorge Cantu, the ground out to 3rd.
Play of the game right there by Castro, diving into the hole and making the throw to first base. You need one of those in a no-hitter or a perfect game.
Dan Uggla looking at another strike. He sits down as well. Here comes Ross. He pops him up. A lot of this tonight.
Right in this area right now. Now you're starting to get real nervous. I'm sure the players, they showed the players on the bench after this half inning, all of them blank stared.
Absolutely. So now you're in the bottom of the 9th. Pinch hitter Lamb. Nope. Deep fly ball. You thought for a second, but Shane had it all the way. No real nerves on that one. I knew Shane had that one. So then here comes former Phil West Helms.
Picasso.
Right on the inside corner. Sit down, and then Ronnie Paulino, the ground ball. What's going through Castro's mind? A defensive replacement tonight. He makes the throw over to Ryan Howard, and perfection is Roy Halladay's. Unbelievable. You know, you think about everything that has to go right for a player to throw a perfect game. You need good defense. You need an umpire who's calling strikes, and you need to get a little bit lucky as well.
The funny thing is that I believe that was the 7th inning that 8th inning that Cantu hit that ground ball, and that was the first huge play that the Phillies had made in the ball game. Like one of the plays, like you're like, uh-oh, that might be a hit, and he makes a great play, throws over to first, and one of our producers, Rob Mickle, came running into the newsroom. He said, that's what makes perfect games and no-hitters right there. And he's exactly right, because later on in the game, Castro makes another nice play in the hole. I mean, it was unbelievable. Valdez also made a nice play in between 3rd and short. things just went well. I mean, this was a great game to watch.
You need a little bit of everything. You need a little bit of everything
Absolutely.
to get the perfect game. Well, we were lucky enough to get there, sit there, and watch from every single pitch of this game. Yeah. You and I got to see it. But, wow, how about having a seat in South Florida like Tom McCarthy and Chris Wheeler did? They are down in South Florida. They witnessed perfection tonight. Guys, take it away.
Murphy, it was an unbelievable night. The fireworks are going off here in South Florida, and how apropos the celebration is. The perfect game by Roy Halladay. I don't know about everybody else in the Delaware Valley, but I'm still shaking, and my heart's still moving. I don't know about you, Wheels.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it's so emotional to see something like that. You know, been 20 in Major League Baseball history and 2 in the Phillies organization.
Pretty
Phillies
impressive.
Franchise now with Jim Bunning. And I was a 19-year-old kid in Ocean City, New Jersey when watching that one. And listening on the radio the day he pitched that thing, and you know, you think, will you ever see another one? Will you ever have another one like that? They're just so rare, and wow, it was just great. And you know, what Ricky just said about they didn't have that many tough plays, and you know, you and I talked about it in the first inning tonight. An umpire comes into play so much nowadays with the strike zones, the way they float all over the place, and they're so tight. And you could see Demura right out of the chute had corners on the plate, and he was going to call the ball in the corner, maybe even a little bit off. And for 2 great pitchers that were going tonight, like Josh Johnson and Halladay, you figured it was going to be a tough night for the hitters.
And it turned out to be a tough night.
It couldn't get any tougher for the hitters for the Florida Marlins. You look at the 8th inning, and here's some of the highlights right here. There's a great play by Castro that is the play of the game. You know, there was one other close play at first base on Maven, but he just kept painting with these pitches all night. And then a weak fly ball right there will pop up to Valdez. Off the bat of Cody Ross. And then here we go to the 9th inning. Lamb scared me. I'm talking about him coming off the bench. And this guy can swing the bat, and that's a deep part of this ballpark. And then, boom, right there on the corner, Wes Helms, no chance. Now, this ball off the bat looks like it has a chance to be a hit because it's headed towards a hole, but it was hit weakly off the end of the bat. Castro makes the play, and not a whole lot of emotion from this guy, but at least he smiled.
It was great, too, to see his reaction, and he was searching for Carlos Ruiz as soon as the final out was recorded. He glanced off of Ryan Howard, who had a huge smile on his face, and then that embrace of Carlos Ruiz. And here are the Phillies no-hitters, Jim Bunning and Roy Halladay, the only 2 perfect games. We said there's only been 20 in the history of Major League Baseball. Kevin Millwoods was the last no-hitter on April 27, 2003. Before this one extremely impressive. 27 batters faced, 27 batters retired. We'll have more on Toyota Sports Night coming up, and plenty more from the ballpark here in South Florida.
No matter what you're building, get professional results with Quikrete fast-setting concrete in the red bag. It sets hard in minutes. Find out more at Quikrete.com. Quikrete, for over 70 years, it's what America's made of.
Can a smartphone reach the 4 corners of the earth? Can it make unlimited Skype-to-Skype calls to any country without using any minutes?
Hello?
I am anyone on Skype. Droid can with Skype Mobile, one of thousands of apps that can run with other apps from the ever-expanding Android market. When there's no limit to what Droid gets, there's no limit to what Droid does.
Right now, buy one Droid by Motorola and get a second one free. Only from Verizon.
Phillies Grand Slam from Turkey Hill could be your ticket to the game. Enter your code at turkeyhill.com/Phillies for a chance to win tickets to a home game or a spring training trip for 2 to Clearwater, Florida. Pick up some Grand Slam from Turkey Hill today.
Presenting the all-new Kazashi from Suzuki with available all-wheel drive. Words don't do it justice, but the experts are giving it their best shot. Buy any Suzuki model now and get free gas for the whole summer.
Take a Ram Heavy Duty, unanimous winner of Motor Trend's 2010 Truck of the Year. With the legendary reliability of an available 6.7-liter Cummins turbo diesel. Add a Ram 1500 with an available Hemi V8 that gets 20 highway MPG and is the most awarded Ram truck ever. Throw in a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And watch out, world. Here we come. Ram. At the 0% Memorial Day sales event, get 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 bonus cash on Ram 1500 Crew Cab.
Everyone knows why baseball is America's favorite pastime. But get behind the wheel of a new Audi or Infiniti, and you'll discover why driving one is America's favorite sport. At Audi Willow Grove and Infiniti of Willow Grove, drive home in the best seat in the house with an Audi A4 or Infiniti G37 for just $299 a month at Audi Willow Grove and Infiniti of Willow Grove, 611 and the PA Turnpike, where great things happen.
Phillies baseball has been brought to you by Toyota. Toyota's national sales event is going on now. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today. By Southwest Airlines. Want to see what a real airline is like? Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. By Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. By Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. And by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, the final score from South Florida, that's only part of the story. 1-0 Phillies. Take a look at that 0 under the H next to Florida Marlins. Roy Halladay, the 20th perfect game in Major League Baseball history. He certainly outdueled Josh Johnson tonight. He faced 27 batters. He retired all 27. The second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history. It's pretty good to have the names Jim Bunning and Roy Halladay side by side. Our next telecast will be tomorrow. Let's hope it's a similar one against these Marlins at 1 o'clock on my PHL 17. Charlie Manuel show at noon. Behind the Pinstripes at 12:30. The producer of Phillies Baseball is Jeff Halleckman. John DeSangro is the associate producer. Our director has been J.R. Aquila. Now for Wheels, Sarge. I'm Tom McCarthy. And for Roy Halladay, a perfect game. Good night, everybody. Stay tuned for more of Toyota Sports Night, including more from the ballpark.
This is the live picture right now at Chickies and Pete's in South Philadelphia. I'll say it again. What a night in Philadelphia. Are you kidding? Unbelievable. Right now, the Flyers have just taken a 4-3 lead, I'm being told. But more importantly, as we welcome you back into Phillies postgame live, Roy Halladay does what only 19 other men in the history of Major League Baseball have ever done, and that is throw a perfect game tonight against the Florida Marlins. You cannot oversell the job that Roy Halladay did tonight, and it was an absolute pleasure to watch.
How do you not sell it?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was amazing, to be honest with you. He hit all his corners. He had all his pitches working. He had balls coming back from the outside the strike zone coming back in. He had balls diving towards the dirt. He did everything he possibly can do tonight to get that perfect game. He deserves it. I mean, this guy has been outstanding for most of his starts. I mean, he had the one bad start against Boston. But besides that, I mean, you knew he was going to do this sooner or later, but it came sooner.
Yeah, it certainly did. Let's go back down to South Florida and rejoin Tom McCarthy and Chris Wheeler, who are standing by. Guys, first of all, what a night it was, and I know you guys are as excited as we are watching what we watched tonight. But, Tom, let me ask you this, because this is, it's always a delicate situation for a man in the booth who is watching a no-hitter or a perfect game. You have to be so careful with the superstitions. When did you know that you had to dance around what was happening tonight?
Well, it's funny, Murph. It was probably the 5th inning when he retired the first 15 that he faced. That's when I think I said for the first time he's retired 15. He's retired all 15, or he's faced 15. He's retired all 15. And, I'm as superstitious as the next guy, but you also know that there has to be a story that's to be told. And I'm just happy that he was able to finish off the story without any problems.
Hey, first of all, Tom, you look excited. Wheels, you look way too calm to start with. I mean, I'm jumping up and down in the newsroom, going absolutely crazy up here. How do you guys perform in that type of situation? Obviously, you're pulling for the team.
I had my nutcase reaction after the World Series ended, which is well documented right now.
Hey, if you could have had a camera on him, though, in the booth while this was going on, hey, he wasn't that calm.
Pretty nervous, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, I think I like a lot of us right now. I'm kind of numb by that whole thing.
It's great.
And you guys made some good points that we were listening to. He had stuff tonight, and we talked about the corners and all that from DeMuro earlier, but he had stuff tonight that you don't think perfect game, you don't think perfect no-hitter, but you think win. And the thing that was really neat, there were so many neat things tonight, but I mentioned it just, I didn't want to get into it too much, but the 9th inning started in a 1-0 game. Nobody moved in that bullpen. I mean, everybody was in the same place they had been for a long time. They weren't even thinking about getting somebody out. That was Roy Halladay's game to win it or lose it, even if he lost a no-hitter in the perfect game at some point.
You know, the other thing, too, guys, which was funny, I mean, you look at some of the reactions throughout the course of the last 2 or 3 innings, and you think about it now. Mike DeMuro, the whole plate umpire at one point, pointed to Cameron Maben and then pointed to the press box in what was supposed to be Maben's last at-bat. He thought there was a pinch hitter that was up there. There eventually was, but your mind kind of floats a little bit. Wilson Valdez on a pop-up to finish up the 8th inning. He pointed to the sky as if to tell Raul Ibanez, hey, it's up there for you. Oh, wait a minute. It's there for me. Yeah. I mean, it's your mind is just moving at so many miles per hour when something like this is happening. I don't know how he's able to stay as calm as he was on the mound, to be honest with you.
I thought the same thing. When did the crowd start turning? I mean, that's the one thing that I always get interested in is when is the crowd, obviously it's an opposing crowd, when did they start turning?
Well, they got a concert here tonight, you know, so you figure a lot of people were coming for the concert, but you started to notice it about the 5th, 6th inning. I thought just about what the point Tommy was making about what he was doing on the broadcast. I was downstairs in the press box, and you could hear the crowd starting to react, and you could see Phillies fans, a lot of them turning, looking at each other like, hey, you realize what's going on here right now?
Signs were being put up around the ballpark, 21 up, 21 down, 24 up, 24 down.
Yeah, I think it was about that time that people started. You know, and then you have the people who are just ready to start dancing to this music.
Watch the dancing
wheels. Was the only time. That was the only thing they were here for. So I don't think that they have any clue what just happened. But the baseball fans do. And man, that was about as cool as it gets to see something like that.
The other thing too, the reaction when Roy went back out to work in the bottom of the 9th inning. Everybody, there's 25,000 here tonight. Everybody was on their feet. I mean, it was, you know, they understood at that point, hey, we're watching something pretty special here, and that's where the chills really started to fly around. I thought anyway when they started to come to their feet in the bottom of the 9th inning.
And guys, you know, we're all still learning about Roy Halladay as we watch him in his first season with the Phils. But I'll tell you what, in listening to his interview with Sarge after the game, one of the first things that he says is, what a job Carlos Ruiz did. I couldn't have done it without him. And I guess that's just the way this guy is, right? He knows this is part of a team. He throws a perfect game, but he gives credit to his catcher as well.
Well, we talked about that late in the game, you know, because I had noticed during the game that they didn't look like and Bo knows better than anybody, you know, a pitcher has ways of shaking off. Sometimes they just stare. You know, they don't want to even shake their head. They don't want to use they don't want to do anything. They just stare. And he wasn't even doing that. It seemed like they were in a perfect rhythm, especially late as that game went along. And that's what he said to Sarge when the game was over. You know, what a perfect combination they were tonight, what a good rhythm they were in. He didn't have to shake him off. They were meant for that tonight.
No doubt about it. Well, guys, thanks for a great call on a terrific game. Enjoy the music down there in South Florida. I would imagine that, that the gang down there is going to have a good night indeed. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, be good. Enjoy it.
See you, Bob.
Tom McCarthy and Chris Wheeler, our player of the game.
Can you guess?
Do you have a guess? Yeah. This was
Castro? No, I missed it.
You know what? He was second. He was second because he was terrific in the field. We'll talk about that. But Roy Halladay, obviously our player of the game, throwing the perfect game tonight in South Florida. First one of his career, perfect game and no-hitter, and only the 20th in Major League Baseball history. And, you know, it is an interesting point, and you do know better than anybody when a pitcher gets in a rhythm. Now, in the majors, you know, you never had a chance to start, but certainly you had nights where you probably felt like you could do no wrong.
Yeah, no, there's definitely nights that you go out there and you're throwing the ball, and anything that you throw, you know, is going to be good. And that, you know, I wouldn't say that about him in the first inning. He threw a lot of pitches. He got behind a lot of hitters. You know, later in the game, I think the 8th inning we were talking about, he's been behind a lot of hitters. You know, hopefully he starts getting the ball back down, and he did. And he made unbelievable pitches in the 9th. Forget about it. You had no chance. Wes Helms came in 2 for 3 against him. He made him look silly. I mean, to me, this guy just got better and better, and he really intensified his edge there in the last inning. He went out there, and he just said, all right, I'm going to get it. I think he's been close before. I think this time he was, you know, he had said he knew about the 6th inning that he had a good chance and he had a good feeling. Well, he went out there in the 9th like there was no way he was going to be denied.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we looked at there. You see it. He had 8 flyouts, 8 groundouts, 11 strikeouts on the day. Through 115 pitches, that's what you need to do a perfect game? So be it. 115 pitches it is. And Ricky, listen to this, because we talk about what kind of guy he is. right now we are waiting for Roy Halladay to come out to the podium, and as soon as he does, we're going to take that live. We're going to bring that to you live so you can hear exactly what Roy Halladay has to say about this perfect game. You want to know where he is right now? He is working out. He's doing his post-game workout
He's
right
not
now.
going to be on for a while.
and that's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of work ethic that he has. So he is working out right now. But when he steps to the podium, you will see it live right here on Comcast Sports. That's unbelievable.
He's awesome. He's one of those guys that figures the team's first instead of him. Yeah. But he goes and does his work for the team, which is, I mean, that's what you want in your starting pitchers. Obviously, he's got more things. He knows that he just pitched a perfect game. All right, he doesn't have to explain to everybody what he did because everybody saw it. And to me, he's just going, doing his regular routines and having a great, I'm sure in his mind right now, he's on cloud nine. There's no way he's not.
I would imagine. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Phillies Postgame Live, but plenty more still to come. And as I said, when Roy Halladay speaks, you will hear it here on Postgame Live or on Toyota Sports Night, but we will bring it to you live. So stay where you are here on Comcast Sports Net.
Coming up after our Phillies coverage, we'll keep you updated on the Flyers as they take on the Blackhawks in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Plus, the USA soccer team makes a stop in Philadelphia. And we'll have the latest Philly to fall victim to injury. Plus, we'll let you know where Pat Burrell will be playing in the near future. Toyota Sports Night, your source for local sports.
No, it's...
Here's Roy Halladay live. We told you we'd bring it to you. Let's listen.
It really is. It's hard to explain. There's days where things just kind of click and things happen. It's something you don't ever go out and try and do. But, it's a great feeling. It's a lot better than the 8 2/3.
How are you able to maintain your focus, especially in the last couple innings? Really just trying to go one pitch at a time. I know it's a cliche, but, I feel like when I'm most effective, that's what I'm doing is pitch to pitch and just trying to execute pitches. I can't say enough about the job that Ruiz did tonight. Really, I felt like he was calling a great game up till the 4th or 5th, and at that point, I just felt like I'm let him take over and go with him, and he did a great job. It was just like I said, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I'd just go out and see the glove and hit it. At what point were you kind of aware that
I think you're always aware from the first inning on, but I don't think you're ever really thinking about throwing a no-hitter until probably the 8th or 9th. I think once you get there, you realize you're close, but you still don't. It's you're still a long ways from it. I think once I got 2 outs in that 9th inning, I felt like I got a chance to make some pitches and get it.
Did you have to take like a minute to kind of get yourself, because again, I'm sure it's on your mind that do you have to kind of take a breath or?
No, not during the game. I felt like, like I said, it was just see glove, hit glove. You try and make pitches. I think the more simple you can make it, the easier it is. I think you take a step off the mound and start thinking about it, and it probably makes things worse. So, just get on the rubber and just try and make pitches.
How did it feel when the Marlins fans stood up and gave you an ovation going out?
Oh, it's awesome. It's to be on the road and have fans, baseball fans, that end of the game is it's special. It makes it definitely more memorable. And I think that's the key thing is, they're baseball fans, it made it a lot of fun for me.
You've never been to the playoffs, never had that or anything like that, so when the final one happens, kind of
accelerated. Chooch was coming at you. What that feel?
Yeah. No, it's, you know, I tell you, it's more a sense of relief, I think, you know, at the very first second than you know, excitement. I think, you know, knowing you're that close and to actually have it happen, you know, it's just, you know, it's a good feeling, but it's, you know, it's just, it's hard to explain. You know, it was great having Chooch come out there. You know, it's, to me, it's as much of a big deal for him as it is for me. And, you know, it's obviously the first person you want to share it with.
Where's the ball?
Hidden.
Did it feel different to you before the game, during the game?
We tried to make some adjustments, you know, really in my last bullpen session. And, you know, talking to Jamie Moyer, we kind of went over some things that, you know, he thought would help, and you know, I agreed with him, and you know, took it out and tried to do those things, and really felt pretty good from the bullpen on. You know, I felt good with some of the adjustments we were trying to make, and you know, it makes a big difference confidence-wise when you do a couple things and you feel good about it and you're hitting your spots there, especially even in the bullpen, you can carry that out.
Roy, I'm sorry to ask this before, but at what point in the game did you start to think this was possible?
I think once you think it's possible, it was, you know, probably 2 outs in the 9th. You know, up to that point, obviously you're aware of it, but you know, it's never something that, you know, you think is possible, you know. But really, once I got the 2 outs, you know, I felt like I had a chance. But you know, you're always aware of it. You just, it's not something that you expect.
At what point did the guys in the dugout just start staying away from you?
About, I'd say 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon.
But you said you talked to Moyer today?
No, this was yesterday.
What was in the dugout? What was in general? What was
just mechanics-wise, you know, I felt like the last couple times I was getting side to side. I wasn't, you know, keeping my momentum back to front, and you know, I felt like that was kind of taking me offline, you know, going towards home plate. So, you know, that's, to me, was, you know, adjustment that I've done it in the past, but for some reason was a little bit off, and it just felt comfortable. How much of a difference it makes, you know, sometimes is debatable, but when you make an adjustment and you feel good about it, I think, you know, sometimes that's half the battle.
What about the job on the left side of your infield?
Yeah, you know, everywhere. You know, there's a Juan made a great play at third. You know, even Chase made a great play in the hole on a ball that Cantu hit away from him. You know, Wilson Valdez made some great plays. It was just, you know, it's you have to have that. You know, I think everybody knows that. You have to have those kind of plays in order to do something like that. You know, it's, I think, a lot of luck, a little bit of execution, and good defense. No.
Did Mr. Roy have something to say here too?
Yeah, he said he's going to pull the rubber out for me, which is kind of cool. You know, like I said, you know, to have the you know, I know they're not probably supporting me and rooting for me, but you know, to have you know, the organization you know, acknowledge it is you know, it's a very great compliment.
Do you describe the getting calls or any passes?
No, you know, trying to get through my stuff first, and no, I haven't looked yet. I'm kind of dreading it. I think I'll just call my family first and look later.
Can you describe the atmosphere in the dugout as the game is unfolding?
Normal. You know, I think, you know, obviously the first emphasis is on winning the game, and you know, I think everybody's kind of concentrating on that, you know, myself included. So you know, I didn't feel like it was a whole lot different. You know, especially it's a close game. Guys are still trying to grind out at bats, and you know, there's a lot more to it than you know, just what I'm doing out there. You're trying to win the game.
You know, about 10 stars internationally, you know, it's difficult maybe for pitchers to make a
Yeah, it's a lot different, but you know, to me that's kind of been a fun part of it so far. You know, I think you know, sometimes to have some of those changes, you know, kind of re-energize you, and you know, everything's a little different. You're going new places, you're doing different things, and you know, it's fun. It's a challenge. So it's for me, it's been a lot of fun having the new part. You know, playing in the National League. Obviously, the game's different. The players are different. It's been fun.
So this came after with your Sounds in the season. How frustrated were you after that start against the Red Sox, and how anxious were you with that on the mound?
Well, you're always frustrated after you lose. I think that's first and foremost. You know, whether the team wins or loses a game, you know, whether you pitched well or not, I think, you know, sometimes that sits more than anything else. But, you know, I think beyond that, you know, I wasn't happy with my execution. You know, I felt like, you know, I was, you know, not making the pitches that I needed to make. And, you know, like I said, I think, you know, whenever you struggle like that and you don't do things you want to do, you're always looking for ways to improve on it. You know, I don't think you ever just brush it off and move on. So, you know, that's what I was talking about with, you know, talking to Jamie and Rich Doobie and some of those other guys, just, you know, trying to find something that's going to click. You know, you're always looking for a way to improve.
Was there any one pitch that was working better, or is it just a matter of location?
Yeah, I would say location. You know, we threw a lot more sinkers today. You know, located that a lot better on both sides of the plate than I had been in the past. And you know, like I said, I think, you know, location, but you know, the way the game was called, I think, you know, made a big difference. They got good hitters. You know, you continue to do the same things, they're gonna figure it out. And you know, like I said, I think Ruiz did a great job of you know, keeping things mixed up.
Okay, thanks, Rob.
All right, thank you.
There you go, Mr. Perfection, Roy Halladay. Let's take a look at, let's go back in history, Ricky Bo, and look at no-hitters in Phillies history. You remember in 1885, Charles Ferguson.
Oh, yeah, against Providence.
Against Providence, 1-0. How about Red Donahue and Charles Frazier?
It's getting more near my age.
Yeah, 1903, but there's been more. There's been more. Yeah, Johnny Lush versus Brooklyn in 1906.
Getting there.
Flanking Brooklyn, Jim Bunning, that one we all remember, June 21st. Father's Day, 1964, the only other perfect game on the list. Rick Wise in 1971, blanking the Cincinnati Reds. And then some more recent ones. You remember Terry Mulholland in 1990, of course. Tommy Green in 91. And Kevin Millwood in 2003. That was the last one until tonight. Roy Halladay versus the Florida Marlins. 5/29/2010, 1-0, a perfect game. And you heard what Roy Halladay had to say, and again, giving credit to his catcher and saying that the ball is hidden away, which I thought was funny, but totally what you expected to hear out of Roy Halladay.
You know what? It's exactly what you expect to hear. You see this guy, and you know that he's a professional ball player, and you know that's how he reacts to things and he acts to things. And he comes off the mound tonight. He kind of, the first guy he looks for, obviously, is Carlos Ruiz. Goes and gives him a hug, and then it was almost like, all right, it's over.
Yeah.
That's good. I thank the guy. Well, trust me, he'll be getting a Rolex or a car or something. So, hey.
Yeah, Chooch, well, he'll get rewarded, of course. That's the way it works.
You know what? You got to love Halladay because he said he just went out there, pitched his game. He gives everybody else credit, if you noticed.
Yeah.
Gave Jamie Moyer some credit for helping him out in his bullpen session, and he said he used some of those things tonight. And, you know,
Rich
this guy's got
his fielders. Yeah,
he's a golden arm, man.
He really is. Well, something special tonight. All right, we're going to take another break here on Phillies Post Game Live. When we come back, hey, Phils won this game 1-0. How'd they score that run? Josh Johnson, kind of a hard luck loser tonight. We're going to talk about that when we come back, so stay where you are.
Phillies Post Game Live, presented by Sloan Toyota, Pennsylvania's largest volume Toyota dealer. There's no place like Sloan.
It's the Champion Toyota National Sales Event right here at Champion Toyota in Northeast Philly. Save thousands with 0% financing and lease incentives on most Toyota models during the most unprecedented sale in Toyota history. Get a 2010 Corolla for only $129 per month or a 2011 Camry for only $179 per month. 0% is for a short time only and won't last long. Visit Champion Toyota at the corner of Common and Algon across from Northeast High School. For National Sales Event savings, it's Champion Toyota.
This part is warthog tusk. This part, solid titanium.
There are only 49 others like it in the entire world.
It's damaged steel, the same kind they use in sword making.
It reproduces frequencies only dogs can hear.
There are excuses for spending money on luxury. And then there are reasons. Test drive any 5-star crash safety rated Acura at the Driven by Reason sales event.
Take advantage of attractive offers on the 2010 Acura MDX for well-qualified customers.
The before, the expectation, the B vitamins and carbs to ignite. The during, the collision, the power, the original Gatorade. The after, the gratitude, the protein to recover. Introducing the G Series from Gatorade. Prime, perform, recover.
Killer stuff, Mr. Quinto.
Dude, call me Razor.
Not today, since you hit for 50 grand. Sitting in with the band is Dave Bentz, the Pennsylvania Lottery's Mr. Treasure Hunt. He won to the tune of $85,000 last week. Every week, the Pennsylvania Lottery crowns dozens of big winners. Let's hear it for them. You could be next. Hey.
Compare a well-equipped Lexus ES to a well-equipped Buick LaCrosse CXS. Get inside each and see what you find. If perfection is what you pursue, this might just change your course. The 2010 LaCrosse from Buick, starting at $27,835. Now lease a 2010 Buick LaCrosse CX for just $339 per month. May the best car win.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I'm back with Comcast. And so are all these folks.
With Dish, our signal would act up in bad weather. Try explaining that to 3 kids.
With Xfinity, Cherie gets TV she loves, including On Demand, now approaching 20,000 choices.
I love Dish because I wanted TV, internet, and phone all on one bill.
Now with Xfinity, Jason gets one bill and helps to save the trees, too. Now, the choice is yours. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Well, you need a little bit of everything to throw a perfect game. How about some great defense? Wilson Valdez in the hole and getting a speedy runner and maybe bang play, and then Juan Castro, we talked about, in there at third base for Placido Polanco.
What do we always say about Charlie? Whatever moves he makes, turn to gold. And what did he do tonight? He puts Castro in at third. Castro makes 2 unbelievable plays tonight.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the pregame show. Why Castro over Greg Dobbs? And, you know, Jim Salisbury was on. You talked about it. Yeah, not only is he not hitting, but he likes his glove. He likes Juan Castro's glove down there, and it certainly paid dividends.
Both of those guys, Valdez and Castro, got amazing gloves out there in the infield. And why not? You got Halladay pitching. You know there's going to be a lot of ground balls, so he throws those 2 guys in there, and they do a great job. He throws a perfect game.
Yeah, and it certainly paid off tonight, no doubt about it. Charlie's moves always do seem to turn to gold. All right, what about our Will's Eye Institute between the lines? It actually starts last night, because this was last night with Raul Ibanez at the plate, and watch Maven in center field. This is not good. Ricky
No, I mean, that is a bad route to the baseball to start with. You got to cut that ball off. Ends up having the Phillies score a run there. That was their first run in God knows how long.
Right, their first runs.
And you know what? You have to cut this ball off. You have to have a good angle. You have to know where this ball's going. Look at his angle. He's just running straight after it. Now he figures, uh-oh, that ball might be behind me.
So fast forward to tonight, 3rd inning, guy on first, and he comes in on a Chase Utley fly ball to center.
That right there is pathetic.
It's a shame.
Because if it's a missile line drive, that's a little different. That's almost a looping ball at you. You should know exactly where to go on that play.
Yeah.
You're a center fielder in the major leagues. You don't make this mistake. You take 3 steps in and then kind of, you know, almost dogged it going back. Didn't really get back there quickly.
It was a 3-run, three base error, I should say. Josh Johnson allows no earned runs tonight, but he still ends up losing this game.
Give him a little credit. He pitched great. I mean, he was in there doing exactly what we thought he was going to do. Goes out there, he's painting the corners, throwing his little breaking ball. The pitches he did leave up, though, the Phillies did hit. Although the only run came on the 3-base error, but still. Phillies win the ball game. I mean, Halladay this is a joke.
Yeah.
That was a joke tonight. This guy went out there and just, The big thing I saw is that he knew where his strike zone was after the first inning. He said, all right, I'm getting that outside corner. I'm going to live out there, and then I'm going to make them chase pitches away from there. And he did it perfectly.
Yeah, he threw 19 pitches in that first inning, and I remember you walked over to me and said, it doesn't look like he's as sharp. And I said, you know what, we've seen this before in the first inning, and then he does. He gets a little bit sharper and sharper. I guess he learns a little bit about what's working and what's not working, and we saw him just kind of settle down and do his thing.
Well, I think him throwing a lot of pitches in the first inning had to do with him wanting to keep the ball down today, because I think he knew against Boston he obviously elevated some pitches. When you elevate pitches, it makes it a lot easier to hit the ball. He stayed down in the zone, and he was going after the knees tonight, which is exactly what a starting pitcher should do. Head towards the knees.
All right, not a whole lot of balls driven hard into the gaps tonight, but we do have our Cure Auto Insurance drive of the game, and it came in the fourth inning, and it came off the bat of Carlos Ruiz.
Might as well be part 2 of the battery.
Yeah.
That ball's laced right there.
And, you know, that's the high wall out there in left field, but you know, one hopper. It's a long single for Carlos Ruiz.
Our drive of the game is a single. That might be the first in the history.
I'll tell you what, how about our standout stars? Now, neither one of us is going to win tonight because the standout star, of course, was Roy Halladay, brought to you by Drexel University's Laveau College of Business. I said Chase Utley, 0 for 4. Ryan Howard, 0 for 3 with the walk.
They both were not there.
No, the offense wasn't there again.
I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. These are the two guys that got to carry this team, and right now, you're not seeing it. You know, I still say Ryan Howard should go up there swinging for the fences. The rest of the team should swing to get on base.
Well, maybe that'll have. Yeah, the offense wasn't there, but you know what? Tonight, it was Roy Halladay's night. He carried this team.
What a great game.
It's a reason you brought him in here, and Ruben Amaro Jr. is going to be smiling ear to ear as well because he saw perfection tonight. Cliff Fu. All right, well, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Well, the Phils win it tonight. 1-0 on a perfect game, only the 20th in Major League history, and Roy Halladay gets it done tonight. What a game it was. You're going to hear from Charlie Manuel coming up on Toyota Sports Night. Amy Fadul and Derek Gunn are standing by. Lots more on the perfect game. A little bit more on the Flyers as well. Of course, following that, Flyers post-game live. I said it once before. I'll say it again, Ricky Bo. What a night in Philadelphia.
What a perfect night in Philly.
It was a perfect Halladay weekend, is what we're saying.
Wow.
You like that? You like that? Phils win at 1-0. Roy Halladay, perfect game. More with Derek Gunn and Amy Fadul coming up right now. Stay where you are.
Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Sloan Toyota, Pennsylvania's largest volume Toyota dealer. There's no place like Sloan.
It's spring savings again in 2010 at your Northeast Philadelphia home for Hondas, Sloan Honda. Right now, you can drive home a brand new 2010 Accord LX 4-door 5-speed for as little as $129 per month. That's right, new Accords for only $129. Oh, it gets better. Choose from over 100 2010 Civic VP 4-door 5-speeds for as low as $99 per month. You can't miss Sloan Honda at the corner of Bustleton and Haldeman in the Northeast, or shop 24/7 at SloanHonda.com. There's no place like Sloan.
Head to Metro PCS for a fragrant deal on a new cell phone.
I love the new phone smell.
Get a $25 gift card back on select phones. Now at Metro PCS. Wireless for all.
Seconds before an accident, the N-Class senses the collision and closes windows in preparation. Dual-stage airbags then deploy on impact, while the advanced crumple zone and cabin design absorb and deflect energy around the passengers. Safety innovations we're proud of at Mercedes-Benz, and ones we hope you never get to see. See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for exceptional offers through Mercedes-Benz Financial.
Let the truth be told. Oh, Frank says, I have a car loan with Citadel. Do you have other services? Absolutely, Frank. We have checking, CDs, mortgages, banking products from A to Z, from auto loans to savings.
Citadel, banking with one focus, you.
Won't you come along with us? Wawa Shorty's 5 different kinds, built to order $2.99. Oh, Hoagie Fest is back. Oh, Hoagie Fest is back. Oh, Hoagie Fest is back.
Wawa's
Hoagie Fest is back. For just $2.99, grab a delicious roast beef or Italian shorty. Now through June 6th. Gotta have a Wawa.
Backed by popular demand, Hyundai's tent event. It's bigger. Save on versatile SUVs like the all-new Tucson or the roomy Santa Fe from America's most fuel-efficient car maker. It's better with America's best warranty and Hyundai Assurance. It's back. Big tent event savings with special financing on the Santa Fe. It's bigger. It's better. It's back. Our once-a-year tent event at your Hyundai dealer. Look for the tent. Get special financing plus bonus cash on the Hyundai Santa Fe.
Super deal alert. Metro PCS is $40 a month, unlimited nationwide talk, text, and web, taxes and fees included.
It's a wireless buffet. Yummy.
Get unlimited nationwide talk, text, and web for $40 a month. Period. Metro PCS. Wireless for all.
With the scoreless streak in the past, the Phillies match aces with the Marlins.
Swing and a miss and another curve.
But it was the Doc who dominated. See if Roy Halladay could achieve perfection. Plus, the injury bug bites again. See which Philly is the latest to suffer a setback. Team USA makes their final preparations for the World Cup in our backyard.
Donovan is through. Landon Donovan. And it's there for Altidore.
Find out how they tuned up against Turkey. Plus, a scary sight at Yankee Stadium involving Alex Rodriguez. We'll update you on the status of injured Indian starter David Huff.
Sports Night presented by Toyota.
A very big night, an historic night in Philadelphia sports. With that, we welcome you inside our Wachovia Center studios. This is Toyota Sports Night. He's Derek Gunn. I'm Amy Fadul.
You know, it would have to take something extremely special to top Game 1 of the Flyers' chase for the Stanley Cup. Now, believe it or not, but we do have such a story that takes priority over the Flyers, and it is a rare gem.
Yes, it is. You know, it's a holiday weekend with Memorial Day on Monday and a holiday on the mound. Tonight, Game 2 of the Phillies weekend series with the Marlins, and on paper, it was quite the pitching matchup. Both staff aces on the mound, Roy Halladay for the Phillies, Josh Johnson for the Marlins. The game more than lived up to its pitchers' dual billing. That's because Doc Halladay flirting with, dare I say it, a perfect game. No jinx here, though. Halladay loves feasting on the division. The right-hander 4-0 with a .82 ERA and 4 intra-division starts. He got off to a good start tonight. In the first, Chris Coghlan looking, thinks he walked, you didn't. Next batter, Gabby Sanchez. No walk there, that's a strikeout. Second inning, same result. Jorge Cantu cannot. Next batter, Dan Uggla goes down swinging and missing. Halladay strikes out 5 of the first 9 batters he faced. Didn't take long for the Phillies to get on the board. In the top of the third, Chase Utley rips one into center field. Cameron Maybin misplays it badly. It goes off his glove, rolls all the way to the wall. It's a 3-base error that allows Wilson Valdez to score from first, makes it 1-0 Phillies. Johnson, though, settled down after that in the 5th. Wilson Valdez at the dish this time, and he goes down swinging and missing. In the 6th, Jason Worth, the big outfielder. Nothing big about that one except for swinging and missing. 6th strikeout of the game for Johnson. Not to be outdone, Halladay comes out firing in the 7th, throws it right by Coghlan. Yeah, that's not a, you're done. 2 batters after that, Hanley Ramirez. You think you walked? You didn't. Go have a seat. Halladay perfect through 7 innings. He comes out in the 8th, of course, 6 outs from history. Jorge Cantu grounds out to third. Very nice play by Valdez at the hot corner. Dan Uggla, the next batter up. He's also the next batter down. 2nd out of the inning. Finally, Cody Ross. Do you want to have a chance to break up the perfect? No, that's a pop-up. Halladay perfect through 8 innings. And this is when, in the newsroom, D-Gun, we started to get a little nervous.
We didn't want to jinx it, though.
Oh, man, I was nervous. Go to the 9th, 3 outs away. Mike Lamb. This was then you got very nervous. Shane Victorino squeezes it for 1 out. Next up, Phillies killer Wes Helms. But he strikes out looking, have a seat. So just 1 out away from history. Marlins up to their last at-bat. It's former Philly Ronnie Paulino.
Halladay's got his signs. The 1-2 pitch. Hit toward third. Castro has it. Spins, fires. A perfect game! Roy Halladay has thrown the 2nd perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history. He faces 27 batters He retires all 27.
That was awesome. Celebration is on. Halladay makes history. It's the 20th perfect game in Major League Baseball history and the second of this season. After the game, Sarge caught up with the man of the hour.
Boy, 27 batters, 27 outs. Tell us a little bit about it.
I don't know what to say. You know, we felt like we got in the groove early, and you know, about the fifth or sixth, I was just following Chooch. You know, I can't say enough about the job he did today. Mixed pitches. You know, for me, it was really a no-brainer. It was, you know, once we got to the fifth or sixth, I just followed him.
Yeah, a lot of times when you come from the bullpen, a lot of times, especially number ones, they don't seem to be ready, and that's when teams take advantage of them. But you seem to have good stuff right away.
Yeah, we, you know, talking to Jamie and some other guys, had some things that I wanted to work on, and you know, I felt good with it. I felt like, you know, early in my bullpen, I was hitting spots more than I had been. So, you know, I felt like I just carried that out there.
Last question. How about all the Philly fans here standing up, coming in that ninth inning? Did you feel it?
Yeah, it was awesome. I don't know what else to say.
There's that smile. Roy Halladay joins Jim Bunning in Phillies history. Bunning pitched the only other perfect game for the Phils. It was the club's first, and it came on Father's Day in 1964 at Shea Stadium against the Mets. 10 of Bunning's 27 consecutive outs were strikeouts. Other Phils no-hitters in 1971. Rick Wise no-hit the Reds. He also hit 2 home runs in that game to help his own cause. In 1990 at Veterans Stadium, Terry Mulholland no-hit the San Francisco Giants. Gary Carter lining out to Charlie Hayes to end that no-hitter. Mulholland also hit an RBI single in that game himself. The following year, Tommy Green no-hit the Montreal Expos in just his 15th career start. Blast out a bouncer right back to the mound. Green walked 7 Expos but struck out 10 in his no-hitter. And before tonight, the last Phillies no-hitter thrown by Kevin Millwood against the Giants in 2003 at the Vet. Millwood striking out 10. And just like in Halladay's gym tonight, the final score of the game, 1-0. Well, after tonight's gym, Charlie Manuel talked about his pitcher's perfection.
But I mean, first of all, he has great command, I should say. He has real great command, and he looks like he never really worries about his pitches, that he's willing to throw any pitch that, you know, like the catcher puts it down or that he wants to throw. And so therefore, and that's what's amazing about his command. And he also, if you notice, he likes to work both sides of the plate. He don't get happy on one side, staying inside or outside. He likes to work both sides of the plate. And that's what makes him a great pitcher.
Do all the baseball rules followed in the dugout? No.
Nobody was saying nothing. Same old deal. Nobody was saying nothing. And when some guys got a no-hitter going, especially once you get to about the 6th or 7th inning, that's when everybody just kind of sits down and watches and don't say anything, because that's a kind of a bad luck omen.
Knowing the work he puts in, I mean, nobody works harder than him, prepares harder than him. How exciting is it to see him go out there and get rewarded with that perfect game?
I think when you see somebody get rewarded like that, just like you said, his work habits and how determined he is and how he's prepared, I think that speaks for itself. I think that he has determination. It's off the chart, and I think that's why he prevails, and that's why that he is who he is, and he just loves to compete.
Yes, he does love to compete. Well, this is the 20th perfect game in Major League Baseball history. The most recent, earlier this month, Dallas Braden threw one for the Oakland A's on Mother's Day. Last season, Mark Burley, the White Sox, hurled a perfecto. Before that, Randy Johnson did it in 04 and David Cohn back in 1999. For more on tonight's perfect game, courtesy of Roy Halladay, we check in with the man who called the historic gym, Tom McCarthy. Chris Wheeler.
Back here in South Florida, I'm not sure if you've heard or not yet, but Roy Halladay was perfect. 27 batters faced. He retired all 27. We could talk about the defense. We could talk about the unearned run they scored to win it 1-0. But really the only topic of conversation needed tonight is Roy Halladay.
Seems like a long time ago we were talking about this team couldn't score.
Well, they only got 1 run.
One unearned run, and it sounds like, you know, you figure you won a 10-0 game. That was great, Tom. You know, we're just so fortunate to be able to be here tonight, televise this game, see a perfect game in person, no less. And you know, what do you say about it? You know, there's been 20 of them, and we're lucky enough to have seen one here tonight. And, you know, could be a little jump start for this ball club. They needed something to kind of get them going a little bit, feeling better about themselves. And, boy, it'd be hard to find anything to get you to start any quicker than that.
Well, the great thing about this ball game was what Roy Halladay did on the hill. 11 strikeouts, but it was the collective effort behind him and in front of him. Carlos Ruiz called a brilliant game tonight.
Yeah, he did a great job. You know, the home plate umpire, Mike Demura, had one of those plates that was good for pitchers. He had two great pitchers in Josh Johnson and Roy Halladay tonight. They took advantage of what was going on with the strike zone, and they made good pitches. And Roy Halladay was just unbelievable. He ran a bunch of 3-2 counts, and he came real close to hitting Cantu that one time. Remember, it just missed you start thinking about things. Just missed his uniform, and there's just so many things to go over in your mind now that could have gone wrong. But the bottom line was they didn't really even hit that many balls hard.
Right.
You know, the Phillies didn't have to make that many great plays. A long fly ball to center is deep, but it's a routine play, and Castro made the play of the game. And, of course, Valdez threw out Maben. Bang play at first, so that's another one you'll go back and think about in a perfect game. But, man, that was great.
It was great. Roy Halladay, his 7th win of the season, a 1-0 victory that kind of felt like a 10-0 win by the Phillies. And Roy Halladay, the 2nd perfect game in Phillies history, just the 20th in Major League Baseball history. He is flying high, and so is this ball club into the finale of a 3-game series on Sunday.
Very cool to be there and to watch it all go down. According to CSNPhilly.com, Phillies insider third baseman Placido Polanco will have an MRI on his sore left elbow tomorrow. Polanco was out of the starting lineup tonight for the 2nd straight game. Of course, Valdez taking his spot. Earlier on Phillies pregame live, Salisbury talked about Polanco's condition.
Polanco was hit on the left elbow, kind of on the outside of the elbow at the base of the tricep. He was hit by a pitch way back on April 21st, a pitch by Tim Hudson in Atlanta. And, you know, he's kind of nursed it and managed it, managed the pain a little bit, and it's bothered him. And the other night he reached up for a ball in New York, and he aggravated it. And he had an x-ray way back a month ago. And there may be a bone spur in there that he may have aggravated or something. So he's going to have an MRI tomorrow.
Actually, that choice of pitch.
Well, Jamie Moyer will take the mound tomorrow for the Phillies. He's looking for a 6th win of the season. Moyer has lost his last 2 starts after winning the previous 3, so he'll be looking to get back in the win column. He'll face Anibal Sanchez for the Marlins. Brad Lidge made a rehab appearance tonight for Clearwater. Wait, let's get an update on the Flyers Blackhawks. D-Gun, what you got?
It is game 1 of the Stanley Cup final, and it has been everything except what you expected it to be. Right now, it is a 5-5 shoot. I'm thinking first game 2-1. You know, 2 teams, 2 physical teams, 2 very fast teams, 2 teams that have been incredible throughout the course of the playoffs.
Amazing.
You know, first game jitters, you know, low-scoring game. But I tell you what, 5-5 right now, early in the 3rd. The key in this story so far has been Peter Laviolette pulls Michael Layton in the 2nd period. And who's back between the pipes?
Brian
Boucher of all people.
Came back at a perfect time.
Unbelievable. Brian Boucher now gets back between the pipes. Again, it is 5-5 early in the 3rd period. If the score changes, we will update the information for you as it is made available. Now, a reminder, at the conclusion of Game 1, it is Flyers Postgame Live. Michael Barkan, Rick Tockett, Bill Clement in studio. Jim Jackson will be chatting at CSNPhilly.com throughout the course of the show. John Borg and Steve Coates live from Chicago. Full Game 1 analysis on air and online. Comcast Sportsnet, CSNPhilly.com, combining you to bring you the most comprehensive Flyers coverage. And still ahead on this show, Ricky Bottalico weighs in on Roy Halladay's historic performance tonight down in Miami and will relive every out of Doc's dominance. That's coming up later on this edition of Toyota Sports Night.
Sports Night, presented by Toyota's National Sales Event. The perfect time to get an amazing deal on the Toyota you've always wanted. And it's going on now. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today.
It's Toyota's National Sales Event. The perfect time to get the Toyota you've always wanted. And for a limited time, get a free auto maintenance package when you buy or lease any new Toyota. Lease the 2010 Corolla for just $149 a month, or get 0% APR for 60 months on Corolla. Or choose a new 2011 Camry and lease one for just $189 a month. Toyota's National Sales Event, going on now. Hurry to your Toyota dealer today.
Can a smartphone augment your reality? Can it see through walls? Locate restaurants and shops through your phone's viewfinder? Droid can with Layer. One of thousands of apps that run simultaneously with others from the ever-expanding Android market. When there's no limit to what Droid gets, there's no limit to what Droid does.
Right now, buy one Droid by Motorola and get a second one free. Only from Verizon.
Straight ahead, more on Roy Halladay's perfect game. We will look back at the close calls during tonight's contest. Sports Night returning in just 60 seconds.
Get to Sussman Kia to see one of the most exciting product lineups available today. Great styling, tons of standard features. You'll look great behind the wheel. Right now at Sussman Kia, you can get 0% APR financing on the all-new 2011 Sorento or the hot new 2010 Soul. Or buy a 2010 Forte EX sedan for $12,995. Or lease a Forte Coupe EX for only $185 per month. Now that's awesome. Test drive a new Kia at Sussman Kia of Jenkintown.
When you choose a bank for what it stands for its strength, passion, belief in its customers and their ideas, you get a lot more from that bank and a lot more out of your finances. Wherever you picture yourself in 10 years, we'll help you get there in 5. We think you deserve that from your bank. Welcome to First Niagara.
We're back with some soccer. There's Landon Donovan, Team USA taking on Turkey at Lincoln Financial Field. The final tune-up before the World Cup, picking up 27 minutes in. Arda Turan gets behind the defense for the
Oh, no. Russian judge deducted points, I think.
Wow.
You guys don't even have anything to say about that. All right, guys, we've reached the top 10 in our countdown. These moments are why we watch. It's not for the game-winning home run or the buzzer beater. It's to see people act outrageously, kind of like this.
Number 10, Zimmer down now.
Now Ramirez. That ball's not even close. You talk about looking for a reason. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez. Oh. That's awful. Don Zimmer, a 72-year-old man, went into Pedro Martinez's face, and Pedro Martinez threw him down.
Number 9, Walnut.
Fly ball hit deep right center field. McRae on his horse. Oh, he hits the wall. McRae, Rodney McRae, chasing a fly ball, just ran through the wall in right center field. He will see that replay for the next 100 years.
Number 8, home run.
High fly ball, right field deep. Canseco back to the track. Look it out. It is off his head, it looked like. And over the top. That looked like it hit Canseco on the top of the head. We'll have to check the replay. Oh, it did. It went over the fence. David Hull's laughing out there, so it must hit something funny. It's him right in the head. He goes over the homer. Look at this.
Number 7, Yankee Chambliss.
Delivers high drive. Hits it right center field. That's gone. It is gone.
Chris Chambliss has won the American League pennant for the New York Yankees. A thrilling, dramatic game with overtones of that great 6th game in the World Series a year ago, and then the 7th game too.
Number 6 on thin ice.